It is 10 o'clock. Welcome in. This is Three Man Front. We are live at Soho Taco. The doors will officially open at 11, but Officer Walt is here guarding us as we speak, and Don Don snuck in somehow.
Hey.
Don Don is officially back. I've had some people text me and ask me if we were indeed going to be back today, and we said, well, technically, everything works out okay. We should be there. And the next question was, will Don Don be there?
Hopefully he didn't bring us any germs or viruses back from wherever he has been.
Yeah, he's been all over the world.
Did you get your
cruise.
shots before you left?
He did. Oh, wow.
Upon return as well?
That's good. On his return.
Well, you don't want me to say it on the air. I got one in mind. Hey.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
I set a record for meeting the most people on a boat, though.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
That does not surprise me.
Yeah, we'll hear more from that later.
Welcome into Soho Taco. The doors are going to open, as Pat mentioned, at 11 o'clock. It's Taco Tuesday, mix and match, and dollar cerveza if you so choose.
Mike Griffith is scheduled to be with us in just a couple of minutes from the AJC, dognation.com. And the 11 o'clock hour, Ira Chappelle, one of the good friends of ours. He covers the Florida State Seminoles for War Chant Illustrated. He will join the program. We'll get his thoughts on this upcoming game. Ira is extremely honest, and he knows the program as well as anybody in Tallahassee, so we'll get his thoughts on the game upcoming. And Dimitri Ravenos will join us in the 1 o'clock hour from SEC Unfiltered. Has some thoughts on Lee Corso's final broadcast coming up this weekend. But we start the program, a disturbing story that came out yesterday afternoon, and this could affect a good many Auburn fans across the Southland. And it's the fact that YouTube TV has confirmed that it's in active negotiations with Fox TV over a new contract. If the companies can't reach an agreement by Wednesday, Friday night's Auburn-Baylor game, and of course Saturday's Texas-Ohio State matchup may be unavailable for those that subscribe to YouTube TV. If no agreement is reached long-term, YouTube will give you a $10 credit.
Hey.
So
Thanks.
you don't get to watch the Auburn game, but hey, you get $10.
Well, it might be a blessing in disguise because Auburn fans will not have to listen to RG3 on the broadcast.
That is true. That is very true. Conrad and I went through this a couple years ago, and I know you guys were making fun of me and Conrad because we had DirecTV and you guys had YouTube TV. So now it seems like you guys are potentially going to be held hostage this week.
Oh, I have the antenna.
Well, that's good.
For backup situations just like this, when we have squabbles, unnecessary squabbles with networks and providers, I've got the old antenna that I hook up, and I will be able to watch with RG3 muted.
Well, Conrad went ahead and reached out to Felipe in Guatemala.
I thought it was
Oh,
Lupe.
y'all are going to be in great hands. Don't you worry.
Conrad reached out to him and said, hey, listen, we got two showmates, Molly and Landrum. They subscribe to YouTube TV, and they might not be able to watch the game. Any way that you could hook them up on Twitch like you hooked us up. What was his response, Conrad, when you reached out to him? First off, how's he doing? Is he doing okay?
He is doing great. He actually said he's upgraded his setup a little bit, so you will
Sweet.
get, you know how some people have the face cam? So
Yeah.
while you're watching the game, he's actually going to be doing his own version of play-by-play and color.
Oh, so it'll be picture-in-picture. So the Auburn game will be on, but he'll be in the corner of the screen describing what he's seeing, I guess, in Spanish, right?
Correct.
Is that
Well,
what he's
he
doing?
heard the
Okay.
outcry over RG3 being on the broadcast, Pat, and so he figured that he would not only provide a way for people to watch the game, but also listen. So y'all are going to really, really enjoy it on
I'm
Friday
excited
night.
about meeting Lupe and finding so much more about him.
A small
than you guys have
donation
divulged.
is appreciated, Landrum. I'll just throw that out there.
A small donation?
Yes. A lot goes a little goes a long way for
Yeah.
Lupe.
What do I put in that Venmo caption?
Sports gambling.
Yeah, put sports gambling or loser of a bet or something like that. That's what you need to put.
I mean, technically, it could be listed as missions, right?
Sure, it's a football mission.
Yeah.
Have you got your stuff covered for the game in case?
I've got some connections.
Okay.
I got people.
Okay, I was just making sure. Now, where's the? Is the Nebraska game Thursday night? Is that on ESPN?
Mhm.
Oh, okay. Well, you're covered there.
Yeah, I'm good.
You'd be really scrambling if that was a Fox broadcast.
Oh, I would be a whole different person today.
So what do y'all think? What's the prediction? You think this will go through the weekend? Think it'll at least go to the start of the NFL season?
No, I think it gets done.
I think so too.
I think the power of The Ohio State University.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's done right after the Auburn-Baylor game.
See, that's my thing, is I feel like if you're an Auburn fan, you might be out of luck, but I don't think they're going to let the Ohio State Texas game. They're not
Ohio
gonna miss
State and
that.
Texas, no. There's no way they're missing that.
Cannot miss that.
Nope.
Here's the other part that's interesting to me, and I don't. By the way, I agree with y'all. I think this will be settled sooner than later. But knowing that YouTube TV or Google that owns YouTube, that they have the Sunday ticket package for the NFL, what if this thing does stretch out into the NFL season? Does that mean that Fox will not provide their broadcasts to Sunday Direct Ticket?
I don't know.
Well,
Does
Or-
Tom
or-
Brady still get paid the amount of money that he's owed?
Well, YouTube TV has 9 million subscribers nationwide. DirecTV has 12 million. So when that was going on a couple years ago with DirecTV, of course, at that time DirecTV was owned by AT&T. So
Yeah.
that was a little bit. DirecTV has been sold to someone else, so AT&T no longer owns it. So that's interesting about the whole Google situation and them owning the Sunday ticket.
I wonder what percentage of DirecTV customers are still hardwired like you.
Well, Conrad is.
Okay. So that's at least two of you guys.
Yeah. There's two. All right, let's go to the Higginbotham hotline. He joins us each and every Tuesday from the AJC, covers the Southeastern Conference, also the Georgia Bulldogs for DogNation.com. He's one of the most wealthy landowners in South Alabama. Mike Griffith joins us here on Three Man Front. Hey, Mike.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
It's game week. I don't know how it is over in the state of Georgia, but I can tell you over here in the state of Alabama with these very intriguing games with Alabama going to Tallahassee, Auburn heading to Waco, Texas. It's a lot of excitement over here. What about in the state of Georgia? Everybody fired up for the Bulldogs' first game?
Oh, yeah. I can't wait to see Marshall, But, it's interesting. You're talking about those matchups. I mean, who would have thought we'd be today, the way Alabama and Auburn used to schedule, where you'd have this intriguing a match and on the road, right? They're both on the road. Isn't that right? Alabama's going to FSU.
That's correct.
Auburn's traveling. I mean, wow.
Yep.
where's
Both on the road.
Where's everybody going to drive to Jacksonville State for a game or South Alabama? Maybe I don't know. I guess
Well,
they're gonna be
UAB plays
traveling-
Thursday. UAB plays Thursday night at Protective in downtown. So a lot of people will be
Well,
there.
that's what I mean. I mean, after going to that game, they're going to want more, right?
Yes, it's just the
No.
tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, I mean, for Georgia, it's really you're trying to kind of find out what you got. I mean, obviously these scrimmages are closed, and the sample size for Gunnar Stockton's so small. And even though Kirby kind of dodged the question when I asked him if there was a plan to play more than one quarterback, I mean, you've got to play the other guy. You can't have your number 2 quarterback be a guy that's never taken a snap in a game. I mean, I feel like they have to play 2 quarterbacks, and then what do they do when the guy comes in there? Does he hand off? No, I don't think you can do that. I think you got to let the guy throw, and if the guy looks really good and Gunnar doesn't, then what? So, because, okay, you play at Tennessee, and that's a game Georgia should win with just adequate play, but then you got Alabama. And, Kalen DeBoer coached him up last year. I mean, I thought Alabama's coaching staff out-coached Georgia. I mean, part of it was, yes, Georgia's receiver dropped a deep pass on the opening drive, could have answered the score. Yes, Georgia receiver misread an audible, led to an interception that led to an Alabama score. But Bama's offense was moving the ball. Now, some of that was gifted Jalen Milroe runs, but some of it was Kalen DeBoer out-scheming Kirby Smart and Glenn Schumann. And Georgia fans don't want to hear that, but, I thought DeBoer and his staff did an amazing job. Now, the second half, obviously Georgia came back, but that first half was coaching. Now, maybe later in the year, other teams had a better read on DeBoer and what Milroe could and couldn't do. But that night belonged to Kalen DeBoer and his staff.
Mike, as far as skill set for Gunnar Stockton, what are the concerns with the Georgia coaching staff besides inexperience?
Well, I mean, he's a fourth-year guy. And, the fact that Kirby Smart keeps talking about decision-making 4 years in. And this is a guy that studies tape. I mean, this kid does everything right. I mean, he really checks all. If you're a coach, you want a guy like this to make it because he has been so invested. Home state product, high school legend. Goes all the way back. Mike Bobo's dad, George Bobo, coached him up as a quarterback guru way back in his youth. I mean, this is what the guy that you the script says this is the guy that comes in on the white horse, but in practice it hasn't happened. It hasn't translated easily. Now, he has been going up against the Georgia defense, and I think this Georgia defense is probably the best in the SEC. That's a bold claim after they lost 3 first-round picks, but they're awful good. So I don't know how much of this is moderated by the fact that Gunner's seen a Texas defense, a Notre Dame defense, and Georgia defenses in scrimmages. I have no doubt he'll look good against Marshall and Austin Peay. Tennessee on the road will be a good test. That's a really good SEC defense, probably in the top, 4 or 5, I'd say, right? But then you got Alabama, and I expect Alabama's defense to be much improved. I still think Alabama is certainly a playoff team, and right now I'd still have them penciled in for the SEC title. I just have such great expectations, especially if the running back's going to be back so soon. Sounded like for a while there we were wondering if he'd be back for Georgia, but now it sounds like they've pretty much said that he will be back for Georgia, right?
That's the general feeling down there. It was not as severe as they originally thought, so we'll see how his rehab goes, and indeed if he is available and ready to go come Georgia. Speaking about Gunner Stockton, I don't think I even asked you this question, or Landrum did during the summer, but I am curious. As we went into the last offseason after the 2024 campaign, was Georgia actively looking for a quarterback? Were they involved in any of the transfer portal potential, whether it was a Mateer, Jackson Arnold, anybody like that? Did Georgia at least kick the tires on a potential other quarterback instead of going all in on Gunner Stockton?
Yeah, they got beat by Indiana on a quarterback, So yeah, they sure did. They had interest, and they had interest last year and the year before in Arch Manning. I mean, this was not, this wasn't necessarily Plan A. I mean, we're down to playing, D, E, or F. It's like Sam Pittman hired Arkansas. I mean, you wake up one day and this is what you got. And again, this is a guy that holds a lot of records in the state of Georgia. This was a guy that was celebrated. When Mike Bobo was at South Carolina, this kid was committed to him. So it's not like Gunner Stockton, wasn't a prized recruit. He was. It's just that he hasn't played a lot of football, through the first 3 years. And sometimes when that happens, it takes a little while to knock the rust off. I mean, even Carson Beck said that. Carson didn't really have his coming out until he had to against Auburn in the fourth quarter. That's when he found out this guy could really unleash it. And you just wonder, how does Kirby manage that? And I don't think you have a schedule, that allows you to be that conservative. I think on the road it's always tough. You don't want to fall behind. That Tennessee game, it's tricky. I think it's a game Georgia should win, but it's tricky. It's an SEC road game. I mean, gosh, Alabama lost at Vanderbilt. Anything can happen, right? So, and then they got Alabama 2 weeks later, and then you get into October, and, oh, by the way, Auburn's got a bye week before they play Georgia. And what could that game maybe look like? I mean, to me, Auburn, still the biggest mystery in the league. Just don't know what to expect. And I can't wait to see Auburn and Baylor. I think that's a really interesting game. And, I think Alabama fans probably salivating at, getting an opportunity to shut that Florida State quarterback. It's been a while since the team's talked this much trash. Probably Vanderbilt. Remember that year Vanderbilt got off to a good start and thought they could play with Alabama?
Do remember that.
Yeah,
Mike Griffith of DogNation.com and the AJC covers the SEC, joining us on Three Man Front and joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline. We get the announcement, the SEC going to 9 games. Greg Sankey, I believe, saying and paraphrasing that was encouraged, or at least brought about, at least in part, by the enhanced metric used by the College Football Playoff Committee for this upcoming season with the strength of record. How convinced are you that will weigh heavily or be more weighted this season when they're evaluating those teams at the end?
Well, in concert with adding Ivan Mazel and Mark D'Antonio, I feel pretty obviously confident. And if Greg Sankey's drinking that Kool-Aid, I am too. Sankey's made a lot of really good decisions for this league and been a really good commissioner. And no one understands the landscape better than he does. And yes, the Big Ten has some major advantages right now. Among them, they've won the last 2 national championships. They control the largest media markets in the nation. You're already playing catch up from that standpoint. They have a bigger television package. They're kind of the cat's meow right now, and it's hard to believe it's not like the SEC's falling off. That's the sad part about this is the SEC is deeper and better than it's ever been, and in a way, it's like that hurts the league because there's so much balance and because it's so deep. And My goodness, Greg Sankey's tried to explain this a million different ways to people that the value of an SEC win is so much higher than these other conferences. And, all you got to do is look at the top 25. You got 10 of the top 25 teams, and this is before they play each other, because when they start playing each other, they start beating each other, and teams have losses, and, pollsters from outside the region start going, oh, this team has one loss, this team doesn't have any. So let's just, you get into that, flawed logic that we saw from the College Football Playoff Selection Committee last year, that less losses means better, and that's clearly not the case. But when you take a look at the SEC, 10 out of 25 teams, that's 10 out of 16 teams in the league. I mean, it's darn near, 2/3 of the teams. Conversely, the Big Ten has 6 out of 18. That's 1 out of 3. Then you go down to the Big 12, which has 4 out of the top 25. That's, 16%. And the ACC, 3 out of the top 25. That's 12%. 12% here's the math. This is not hard. 12% of the ACC teams are in the top 25. 16% of the Big 12 teams are in the top 25. 33% of the Big 10 is in the top 25. And then the SEC has 10 of the top 25. I mean, that's amazing, right? 10 out of 16. I mean, it's just, to me, it's incredible.
That is Mike Griffith. Mike, you got a few more minutes. Can we hold you over?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, wonderful. I want to get your thoughts on some of the slates, some of the big games in the SEC coming up this weekend. That's Mike Griffith from the AJC, DogNation.com. More with Mike when we return on Three Man Front. It is 10:20. We continue our conversation with the AJC DogNation.com's Mike Griffith here on Three Man Front. Mike, I wanted to ask you about a couple of games. Obviously, Auburn and Baylor, that is extremely interesting. Auburn is a slight favorite on the road, but so much talk about the quarterback play. Jackson Arnold takes over Hugh Freeze's offense. Just your thoughts on Auburn. I know when we talked to you in Atlanta, you're pretty high on this Auburn team this year.
I'm high on the ceiling, right? And it is based on quarterback play. And again, we don't know behind the scenes, I don't at least, what Hugh is trying to accomplish and what types of situations and scenarios were being run in those scrimmage where, he reportedly, didn't shine. You don't know what, how much pressure did they bring, how much were they asking him to do, where's he at on his game management, how's the supporting cast around him. There's so many elements to this that I think we can maybe have a sense, but I wouldn't make any conclusions based on camp reports. I mean, things can, you see that in the NFL preseason every year, right? So, I mean, but this is a bit of a litmus test. I mean, it's a road environment with a new quarterback, and kind of a got-to-have-it game for Auburn. I mean, I know that now we talk about with the expanded playoff how, week to week doesn't mean as much, but I think in the world of perception, perception can quickly overtake reality and can kind of create an environment. And whether it's real or imagined, I think those players and coaches feel it. Clemson, LSU is another game like that, right? Clearly either one of those teams could lose and still make the playoff, but there's a desperation in both programs. LSU, with their string of losses in opening games, and Clemson, last time, they were at home, I believe they lost South Carolina. That'd be a tough pill for Clemson fans to swallow. When this is, probably Dabo's, this is a pivotal year for Dabo. I mean, he's got 3 or 4 first-round picks, if not now win. Can little old Clemson, compete in an NIL world? You talk about Alabama having limited funds. Well, guess what? Clemson's got even less money. So this is a must-win game for Clemson, must-win for Brian Kelly in the sense of, a lot of confidence, some of that confidence wavering. You guys repeatedly say Brian Kelly could be on the hot seat. Unless you're hiring Nick Saban, I don't know who else you're going to hire down there. But my point is, I think both of those, that's a desperation game as well. Texas, Ohio State, not so much, on the other hand, right? Because, they both have, favorable, I think, conference schedules and enough talent that I think we know both those programs will get better as the season progresses.
How do you view this Ole Miss team? Because Lane Kiffin and the folks there in Oxford, they're super excited about Austin Simmons, what they've seen from the lefty quarterback. Apparently, he's really, really smart. What do you make, even with the schedule that the Rebels have this season? What are your expectations there in Oxford?
Well, I mean, Ole Miss is one of the heavier transfer teams still. If not the last recruiting class, the class before it and the class before it. So you got a lot of guys that, the culture of that program is always kind of up in the air when you have that many players that weren't original signees, in my opinion. And, last year those guys, banded together and all decided they wanted to kick Georgia's ass. I mean, Lane told us there was a couple guys that, maybe it wasn't Lane, maybe it was somebody else that said it. There were a couple transfers in that class that stayed around another year just because, or came to Ole Miss because they wanted to beat Georgia. They lost to Georgia. And when Georgia came to Oxford, mission accomplished. They took care of business. So does this group, get that close-knit oneness? And I know that sounds so cliche, but all you got to do is look at that team that's going to be across from Alabama in the opener. Georgia wrecked them. When they had those transfers opt out of the Orange Bowl, and Georgia, put the biggest bowl whipping in history on them, literally, which is amazing when you think about parity in today's game. I mean, that broke that program. That culture was blown up overnight, and you saw the results last year. And now Mike Norvell's got to, they got to scramble the Jets and get it back together, and they open up against Alabama. So that's a big game for Florida State. I just don't think they have what it takes to beat a Kalen DeBoer Alabama team. So we'll see. But to answer your question, Ole Miss is, with all the transfers, obviously they've got a dynamic offense. Obviously Lane's a fantastic offensive coach. But what's the culture like? What's it like in the locker room, right? So I think a fast start is going to be pretty important to the Rebels. And if I'm not mistaken, I think they have a schedule that's conducive to that.
Very much so. Matter of fact, they're like Mizzou. They play a lot of home games this year. I wanted to ask you about Texas. You were very frank with us last year in regards to your feelings about the Texas Longhorns and the schedule they had and the way that they progressed throughout the regular season. Your thoughts on Arch Manning taking over in this big game in Columbus, Ohio? Will this give us a true barometer of what to expect from the Longhorns this year?
Yeah, a decent one, but this is a team that's got to grow around Arch. I mean, Arch Manning, he's football royalty. I'm all in. I'm bought in. I like the guys. I like what I see on the field, right? The interview at SEC Media Days, yeah, that's nice, but how does he play? The guy throws the ball and, music plays. I mean, this guy is so talented. It's ridiculous how good this guy is. If there's a problem for Texas, it ain't going to be Arch Manning. So the question I have still about Texas, and we'll find out, is can they get tough enough? Georgia beat them because they were more physical and tougher, mentally and physically. Not because they were better. They were tougher. And so I kind of feel like Texas has got to kind of figure out, somewhere between the high-price NIL deals and Lamborghinis, they got to get pickup truck tough. They got to bring their lunch pails to work and, put the sushi away. I felt like Texas has been kind of a soft program, for a while. And this ain't a place for soft programs in the SEC. And maybe last year, certainly those Georgia games and even into the playoff, I mean, Texas had enough talent to win the national championship last year. I don't think anybody would debate that. But for some reason, they weren't able to get over that hump. And to me, that's a culture issue. I mean, and that's the challenge now. Is now that you've introduced NIL with the unintended consequences, and a lot of times players are being rewarded before they've actually earned the money, do they stay hungry? Are they as apt to work as hard when they have money to spend and they could be out, driving that six-figure vehicle or out at that expensive restaurant? What's the incentive for them to be in the weight room or putting in those extra workouts, those voluntary workouts or going without? And the programs that are able to do that effectively are the ones that are going to stay at the top. So I think culture right now in a program is probably more important than ever.
That is Mike Griffith from DogNation.com. AJC joins us every Tuesday. Mike, should be a lot of fun this upcoming weekend. Remind everybody about the Instagram page because I know that there's probably a couple of dates still open this fall to be able to take advantage of your wonderful property down in Gulf Shores.
Yeah. So we got a couple weeks that are still open in September. A couple weeks been booked, of course, and then I think we got some time in October. And anybody that listens, I've said this before. We offer the 25%, right off the rates. If they let me know with an Instagram message to @GulfShoresGetawayAL, if they send a message or contact you guys and let me know they're interested, let me know they're WJOX listeners, I'll take that 25% right off the cost and figure something out with them. But all reports from everybody's enjoyed it. I mean, still 5-star ratings across the board, and weather's been nice down there. So I haven't even had a chance to go down there. It's been pretty much booked up all summer and most every week of the fall. But we do have some openings now in September and October if people are interested in a property that sleeps up to 10. Couple families go down there for a football weekend, and flat screens in every room. Free wireless, good stuff. 60 yards from the beach. Not a bad way to spend a weekend.
No, it's great. As a matter of fact, Mike, the other night we had our Jox kickoff party. We had 200-plus people at this kickoff party, and I can't tell you how many people came up to me and asked me details about your property because they knew that me and my family, we stayed there back in the summer, and I just could not have gone on more and more about it. So I think you're definitely going to see an uptick, especially from Jox listeners here, whether it's this fall or maybe spring and summer next year. So a lot of people are interested.
Yeah, well, Alabama's a great state. It's growing right now. I've talked about the economy there. I'm bullish on it, right? I think we're in a good place, and, not to get too political, but there's been a lot of decisions made lately that make me think that more commerce will be coming to the state, and certainly now Gulf Shores with that Legion Airlines and all the flights they got going in there and that airport, 5 miles from the beach. A lot of good things going on down there. So a lot to be excited about in the state of Alabama this season. Football season, beach season, and I believe economy-wise.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, Mike, enjoy the kickoff this weekend as the Georgia Bulldogs get things started. Should be a great Labor Day weekend, and we'll talk to you next Tuesday.
Thanks, Mike.
All right, guys. Look forward to it. Thank you.
Thanks. That's Mike Griffith. He joins us just like all of our guests do on the Higginbotham Hotline. You deserve solutions that are built for you. Higginbotham is your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services.
Speaking of discounts, Mandu, just across the way from me here in downtown Homewood, it's Boutique Fitness. It's electrical muscle stimulation fitness. 15-minute workout, the equivalent to 6 hours in a gym. Here's what you need to know. Speaking of discounts and saving you money, right now if you go in, you say, I heard this from Landrum on Jox, you sign up for Mandu. They'll put you through a workout free of charge to see if you like it. I can almost guarantee you're going to like it. I can guarantee you're going to get results. But if you do it, mention Landrum, mention Jox, 10% off. Not only your membership for the first month, your membership for as long as you're a member there at Mandu. Mandu in downtown Homewood. You got to check it out. At least go for the free 15-minute workout to decide if you like it. Mandu in downtown Homewood. MANDUU.com. Check it out there. Tell Paul and the gang that Landrum from Jox sent you.
Larry from Homewood has joined Don and Officer Walt, so come on by and see us. They're going to let you up here on the Taco Terrace. That's what kind of pool we have here at Social Tacos. Come on by and see us. More three-man front live on location on this beautiful Tuesday in Birmingham. It is 10:34. Welcome back. We're live at Social Taco. Come on by and see us. Looking forward to it. Be here until 2 o'clock here at Social Taco. The doors officially open at 11. Come on by and have an extended lunch. Talk some sports.
Oh, yeah. Well, the Alabama heat and humidity can be brutal, but don't let it affect your home and family. Keep them comfortable with an affordable Train cooling system. They've been recognized as America's most trusted brand now for 11 consecutive years, and they're the official cooling partner here at Jox. So go and find a comfort specialist near you at train.com.
There is an interesting story that has been brewing out of Columbus, Ohio. We all know that a couple weeks ago it was announced that Dave Portnoy from Barstool, he had signed a deal that he was going to be part of Big Noon Kickoff. Well, there seems to be a little problem brewing. As we all know, he is a huge Michigan booster. He has boasted many times during the summer, whether it was Bryce Underwood helping pay a large sum of money to get him to come to Ann Arbor, or a situation where he's smoking cigars on social media when Michigan absolutely thumbed its nose at the NCAA when the NCAA barely gave them a slap on the wrist. Well, it appears that there was a report that he is not going to be allowed to be inside the horseshoe for the Texas-Ohio State game. Now, there's no secret that Ross Bjork, who is the athletics director, he has been extremely critical of Fox. If you remember last year, was it one game that Ohio State played in prime time?
Yeah, they were mad because all their games
were
are at 11 a.m.
Yeah. The fan base, they were extremely ticked off at the fact that they were having to play these early morning games. So a report came out yesterday that Ohio State was banning Dave Portnoy from actually being inside the stadium. Now, he's going to be a Fox employee. Well, this morning, Ross Bjork told Yahoo Sports that Fox decided that Portnoy would not be at the main desk of Big Noon Kickoff, and those not on the desk do not normally appear on the field. Ohio State did not ban him. So I guess that was just an interesting way to keep him out of the stadium based on the fact that they're saying that he's not going to be on the main desk.
I mean, you're kind of putting yourself out there if you're Fox. If you're going to put him on your broadcast anyways, you probably don't want to rub it in. And I don't know if Dave Portnoy really cares about being inside of that stadium or not. He's probably got other things that he's going to be wanting to do during the course of that game that probably would not flow with being a studio host there inside of – that's just my guess. He screams that during the game he wants to kind of go and do his own thing and not be caged up inside of a stadium. But that's good that Bjork came out and cleared the air because it looks kind of petty.
Yeah, I think that was the thing that Portnoy was probably going to absolutely bask in is the fact that, okay, once again, you know, the team down south in Columbus, Ohio, they don't want a Michigan man to be inside the stadium.
Because Roger Goodell in the NFL, they did ban him, right?
Well, and I was about to say, and he had a field day with that, and it honestly probably helped his image more than anything. And so, yeah, if you're the Big Ten or Ohio State, you don't want to repeat of that.
Another story that I just saw a few moments ago, that former South Florida head coach Jim Leavitt, who turned down the Alabama job. Alabama offered him the head coaching position, and he turned it down.
Yep.
To stay at South Florida.
They were booming back then, Pat.
They were. They were a top 4, top 5 program based on the ratings during that year. He has been arrested down in Pinellas County. Jail records indicate Leavitt was charged with simple battery, domestic battery, and grand theft greater than $5,000. An arrest affidavit from the St. Petersburg Police Department stated Leavitt battered his ex-girlfriend by grabbing her arm as she tried to walk away from him. Police said that he also pushed a man in the chest. Leavitt was accused of stealing a Louis Vuitton purse, a Louis Vuitton wallet, and a Louis Vuitton clutch, collectively valued at $5,000 but less than $10,000.
My guess is that this is how it all played out. She's with somebody new. He bought her all of that stuff. Guy tries to intervene. He says, "This is none of your blanking business." Pushes guy in chest and says, "Give me that purse and that handbag that I bought you. I'm taking this back." And then the cops were called.
Feasible? Sounds right.
That's a pretty good theory.
Is that the normal price of a Louis Vuitton?
Yeah, I would say, depending on what bag it is.
I've never bought one that I know of. I'll probably buy one.
They are very expensive.
Yeah.
I was about to say, a quick Google search seems like average for a purse is like 2,000-ish.
All right, Molly, when it comes to name brands like these type things,
Yeah.
Louis Vuitton, and then who else is up there?
I would say probably like a Louis, maybe a Gucci.
Okay.
Chanel's usually more expensive than the two.
Chanel is?
Yes.
All
What
Those
about
are like,
Prada? Is Prada more
Prada's
expensive?
probably like Louis Gucci price, I would say.
What would be like that knockdown, the next level maybe down?
Maybe like a Coach bag.
Okay.
But Coach bags have gotten expensive. I'm not even gonna lie. I'll probably put them. But Louis Vuitton bags, depending on what bag you buy, they can be very, very expensive.
But basically, the way you laid that out, I think that is a very good summation of probably what took place.
We could get details, and it could be something totally different. But when I heard that, I went, okay, I can see it playing out this way. Well, that stinks.
Yeah, he was the South Florida coach from 1997 to 2009, and he turned the Alabama job down in 2002. And I will never forget when his name, because I own JimLeavitt.com, because during that time frame when we started on the Feinbaum show, when we would hear behind the scenes some of the coaches that Alabama was actually interested in, me and a couple other folks from the radio show, we would go by, because at one time I owned FrankBeamer.com, JimLeavitt.com, all these people that was potentially.
Did you ever have Spurrier?
I did not have Spurrier.
Oh.
But because, it became fashionable during that time frame, because you had CoachFran.com. Franchoni would put that bogus crap out on his website every Fridays with Fran, have some kind of emotional BS that he would put out there about hold the rope, the team is incredible, and all that kind of BS. But anyway, Leavitt turned the Alabama job down, and he got in front. South Florida at the time had a female president, and the female president got up and basically was like, South Florida won, Alabama nothing. Just like, and it just made Alabama look so bad, because the head football coach of South Florida turned down the University of Alabama. How times changed just about 4 years later when Nick Saban accepted the job and came to Tuscaloosa.
And they ended up going to Moscow to get their coach several coaches later, right?
A Russian head coach.
Hey, you see South Florida's schedule to open up the season, right?
Mm-hmm.
The 3 straight games.
Yeah.
That's
so
brutal.
did he put a curse on Alabama? Because it is just kind of funny that, you bring up Alex Golesh and how USF has kind of been the thorn in the side of Alabama for a couple of years now. Just kind of interesting.
It is, isn't it? How that is. That's pretty amazing indeed.
They have a better than most NIL budget, as I understand, in the American as far as that goes.
Yeah. Well, and they got that new stadium.
Yep.
And that's going to be really nice. The whole football facilities there in Tampa, they're doing it right. Last night on Auburn's Tiger Talk, Hugh Freeze said a couple of things that he really didn't go into a great detail about during his press conference yesterday. A couple of the notes that I highlighted was, one, this Alex McPherson condition, that's obviously a lot more serious than we had heard about. I mean, he's had a great fall camp, but obviously something has flared up again. This is Freeze saying his weight is down, his strength is down, he's having trouble keeping food down.
Hate it, man.
And so you just hope that this young man will be able to, get that under control. Forget about football, but just, being able to have a productive and just feeling good about life. It seems like he's struggled over the last year. So that was some concerning news for Alex McPherson. He also said last night that I love what I see from Damari Austin. I think it's time for him to shine. Also, he was asked during the broadcast the biggest surprise in fall camp. He said the cornerback transfer from Tulane, Rayshawn Pleasant, says he can play nickel or corner. And then the other thing that I made a note of, he mentioned that Horatio Fields, wide receiver, has become a father-like leader in the wide receiver room.
Yeah, Horatio Fields, that guy that everybody kind of forgets about. You think about Eric Singleton and coming through the portal, and Singleton, he's as good as advertised. But Horatio Fields, he did some pretty good things in his career at Wake Forest, and maybe that other option that Jackson Arnold, whoever's playing quarterback, has to go to when everybody's paying so much attention to Singleton and Cam Coleman.
Yeah. And this will be the only opportunity for the rest of the week for any media to have a conversation with any Auburn players. They're practicing this morning at 9:45. They're going to break a little bit before lunch, around 11:45. There will be selected players available for the media. Hugh Freeze and Kalen DeBoer, they will do the SEC teleconference tomorrow morning. But then everything is off limits for Auburn the rest of the week. The only next time you will hear anything from Auburn will be post-game on Friday night. So today's practice, there's an open viewing window for media this morning. Meanwhile, Alabama, there will not be. There'll be selected players at Alabama that will be available for the media later this morning, but no practice viewing. So kind of tightening things up both places.
Yep. And one of our listeners had texted in on the text line and talking about that Auburn-Baylor matchup, and I know we're going to talk more about it. Is it still 2.5 Auburn? Is that still the Vegas point spread?
Let me take a little gander here.
But this listener texts in and says, why aren't more people talking about Auburn's O-line versus Baylor? 278 starts, among them first in the SEC and seventh in the country. Auburn 35-17. That offensive line, that is something that I know the coaching staff and a lot of Auburn fans feel a lot better about heading into this season than they have a lot of seasons in recent memory of having that experience, whether it's Murphy, the transfer from USC at tackle, whether it's Chaplin, the talented tackle from Virginia Tech, Connor Lew, and others. You've got a lot of experience, and they finally feel like they've got an offensive line that can protect, that can pave a way for the running game, and barring injury, that should be one of the strengths of this Auburn team heading into the season. So that'll be interesting to see how they match up against that Baylor, especially that Baylor front, and what Dave Aranda throws at them.
Folks already making their way up here on the Taco Terrace. Hope to see you come by and join us. This is Three-Man Front on Jox. It is 10 minutes in front of the hour. Welcome back in. This is Three-Man Front on Jox. Pat, Landrum, Molly. We're live on location, Soho Taco. Conrad will be joining us a little bit later out here at the Taco Terrace. Locally owned specialist when it comes to mowers and tractors. I've been telling you all summer long about Artec Tractor just north of Jasper on Highway 5. They helped me out. They pointed me in the right direction with my zero turn from Toro. It has been a life-changing experience for me on my property. They've got Cub Cadet, Gravely, Bobcat, Spartan, residential to commercial grade, more brands and better selection than those big box stores. How about tractor brands? Mahindra, Bobcat, everything from large home acreage, small homesteads to large farms. How about a hunting plot that could take care of you there too? Knowledgeable sales department. They're going to advise you on your purchase. Expert service department, large selection of heavy equipment. Jeremy, Greg, and the guys, they're going to take care of you just like they took care of me. I cannot recommend anyone higher than I can Artec Tractor. Visit them online at artectractor.com, just north of Jasper on Highway 5.
A lot of discussion as we lead up to kickoff, and the game's coming up this weekend. What does Alabama look like against Florida State? Much anticipated with that offense and Ryan Grubb. And I keep asking the folks down there what they expect, and I've actually been a little bit more surprised. You're not getting a lot of coach speak, and well, it's going to be the same offense. There's a lot of people that believe that the offense is going to look drastically different under Ryan Grubb.
Yeah, I mean, that's the general feeling. They felt really good about where they were in the spring and what happened in the summertime with Ty Simpson, that Ty really took the next step forward. And the quarterbacks behind him, whether it's Austin Mack or Keelan Russell, they had good camps as well. But Ty has really outperformed them. He really took the opportunity to make that step up. So they feel really good about that. And the wide receiver room they have, it's going to rival that of what you see at Auburn. I think both wide receiver rooms in both places are going to be highly talked about, not only in the SEC but across college football. Very talented group, very deep on both sides for Auburn and Alabama. So I believe that they think that if the offensive line performs the way that the Pro Football Focus and other people say the offensive line should perform, then it should be a really good year for the receivers, should be a very good year for Ty Simpson.
But at all sorts of quarterback position, right?
Yeah.
With Ty Simpson making mistakes, or not making the mistakes that we saw from Jalen Milroe a season ago. And I don't think that Ty Simpson has to be a Heisman Trophy quarterback every week.
Not at all.
Not saying he needs to be a game manager, but I think Ty Simpson just performs within that offense what he's asked to do and not having to feel like he needs to do more, and he should be fine.
My favorite comparison that I've seen in the offseason now is, can he be Blake Sims? Can he be that level of a quarterback for Alabama, right? You're not Tua, you're not Bryce Young, you're not even Mac Jones at that point, but very solid, not a game manager like you're saying, Landry, but a guy that can go out there, throw for a little over 3,000 yards and not turn the ball over, right? Get the ball out to your playmakers, and I think we saw, I think it's reasonable to expect that Ty Simpson, a guy that came in as a five-star quarterback, can replicate what Blake Sims, who transitioned from DB to quarterback, could do under Lane Kiffin.
Well,
I think that's a good comp.
If I'm an Alabama fan and I get the result, give me Jake Coker. Give me Greg McElroy in 2009. Give me some of these other if that's what I have of the surrounding pieces, if the defense is gonna play at or above the level of expectation, if your offense, you've got those surrounding parts, then just do what you need to do to help your team win football games, and don't do things that are unnecessary that could lead to losing football games.
Yeah, and I think Jake Coker was an outstanding quarterback, but the position that he was in at quarterback, it led him to make smart decisions, and that's the one thing that I've been told that Ty Simpson has done very well, whether it was in spring practice or fall camp, and it's been noted by his head football coach that they have not turned the ball over in fall camp, whether that's the fact that the defense has not lived up to what they need to do and force the turnovers, or the fact that Ty Simpson has made some very smart decisions in regards to where he's throwing the ball as opposed to what Jalen Milroe did.
I will say the one caveat with Coker and McElroy is that the year that they won a national championship, they also had a running back that won the Heisman Trophy. So
correct.
Certainly, and especially Derrick Henry in 2015, I mean, that was the offense a lot of times.
And we'll see. A lot of people are excited about Richard Young. They believe that Richard when it's all said and done, he's going to fit in really nice, and he's going to do some good things. But as we all know, being a running back, just like Sean Alexander, while Sean Alexander took a long time to get on the field, if you don't pass block and you don't do other things outside of carrying the ball, then you might not have the playing time. When we come back on Three Man Front, we have an update from viewers of the Auburn practice about Eric Singleton and his potential availability against Baylor. Interesting reports coming out of Auburn. We'll tell you what those are next. It is 11 o'clock. It's hour number 2 here on Three Man Front. Appreciate Mike Griffith. Joined us for almost 30 minutes talking SEC football. We're going to go down to Tallahassee, Florida, coming up at 11:30. Talk to Ira Chappelle from warchant.com. We'll get his thoughts on this weekend's game between Alabama and Florida State. 1 o'clock hour, our weekly visit with Dimitri Ravenos from SEC Unfiltered. Also, the college football bubble bath this week. He's got an article at Barrett Sports Media detailing the final Lee Corso. And, man, if you saw that video over the weekend, just gut-wrenching, just a wonderful sentimental piece about them taking him into the College Football Hall of Fame Theater, watching all the accolades from his former showmates, people around the business, college football. It was a very moving tribute to Lee Corso. I want to tell everybody about Abide Roofing because you don't need to wait for a small problem to become a huge disaster. And I'm talking about a couple loose shingles, then all of a sudden you're talking about a large section of your roof's got problems, and then before you know it, like I had to replace my entire roof. So Abide Roofing's there to help you at 205-941-6223, whether you live in Trussville, Homewood, Vestavia, doesn't matter. They can come. They will help you today. Go to abideroof.com. And here's the thing. Even if you've got this wet, soggy lawn and you've got maybe a tree or something that has fallen on your roof, they can take care of that too. That's right. They also handle tree removal. So Abide Roofing, they've got your back on everything. They'll even work directly with your insurance company to make sure that you get what you need to protect your home. Call them today, 205-941-6223. Or just go to their website, abideroof.com.
College football season is officially here, Pat. The two gentlemen that walked up here, they're first-timers to the Taco Terrace. Brothers. One is wearing an LSU golf shirt. One is wearing an Alabama golf shirt. He told me, hey, we're brothers. And I said, oh, interesting. You're an LSU fan. You're an Alabama. He said it doesn't stop there. There's 6 brothers. 3 of them went to LSU. 3 of them went to Alabama.
Oh, my goodness.
And that's 2 of them that are sitting there. And
that's pretty amazing.
For Lord knows how long, because Don has now sat down with them.
Yeah,
so
that might be a problem.
We might have to get Gringo to pull back on the reins a little bit if he's going to scare him away.
Yeah,
but
might need to intercede.
Yeah, we invite college football fans. If you never joined us, like these two gentlemen, come and join us in the terrace. We're live here at Soho Taco in the square in Homewood next to City Hall. You will see more activity inside of City Hall today as we have not only council election but mayoral election going on. So come and join us at Social Taco, and the tacos are coming out of the kitchen, piping hot, but the chicken feathers, you're going to have an order of those coming up pretty soon.
Absolutely. So before we hit the top of the hour, I was telling you, Eric Singleton Jr., the transfer from Georgia Tech, has really had a great fall camp, but he got dinged up about less than 2 weeks ago for Auburn. And he's been wearing a yellow non-contact jersey. He's been trying to go through drills. Well, Justin Hokanson from Auburn Sports on 3 site, he posted something just a couple minutes ago. He says, because they are able to watch a little bit of practice, and he reports the following: watching Singleton Jr. during the brief practice window this morning, he's definitely not 100%. Some of the Auburn sports staff are sitting here, and we all thought the same thing. Hugh Freeze mentioned on Monday that he's close, but they would see how things go this week. He's out there in a yellow running around, but that left knee is heavily wrapped, and he's favoring it at times. It's good that he's out there, though.
If I remember the initial report that we got, it was from one of the practices. He was held out of one of the scrimmages, the second scrimmage, I believe, Pat, and it was maybe knee-to-knee contact where he was going up with a defender and bone hit bone. So if it's a severe bone bruise, you certainly need Eric Singleton and what he can do in that offense, and that's why I think that Auburn staff, that's why the efforts were made to land him. But you have other options, and you might need him to beat a Baylor team, but you need to make sure that he's ready to go the next 11 games. You got some really big games coming up, so maybe it's another guy that fills that void. Is it? I'm not looking at the depth chart.
I think it's Malcolm Simmons is the next in line. Yeah.
Not a bad option there. Of course, you got Perry Thompson. That is 2 on the depth chart at one of the other positions. There's the Z, Conrad, the Y, the H.
Yeah, Thompson is at the Z.
Yeah, he's behind Horatio Fields, and Malcolm Simmons is right behind Singleton.
Singleton's on the H position.
Okay.
And then how about Sam Turner, the freshman? He's the backup to Cam Coleman.
Sam Turner's the guy that we heard about, right?
Yeah.
All spring and throughout the summer that this kid is turning heads. So the recruiting and the transfer portal acquisitions and the depth of that wide receiver room, that comes up big in a situation like this if he's not able to go.
Yeah, and another area of concern, as we all remember last year for Auburn, the special teams, especially the field goal kicking, was dreadful. And main reason why is because Alex McPherson was out for most of the year due to a serious ailment. And last night during Tiger Talk, it was brought up again that McPherson is unfortunately having some same issues that he had last year. According to Hugh Freeze, his weight is down, his strength is down, he's having trouble keeping food down. And if you remember, if you look at his measurables, Alex McPherson is 5'9", 160. So if he's not keeping food down and he's dropping weight.
Oh, if you remember the pictures
strength,
from last year.
Yeah, that could be a problem.
And he's dealing with a health situation that doesn't go away. The way I understand it is it can, I don't even know if flare-ups is the right way to describe it.
Just trying to manage it.
Just try to manage it. And look, if he's not able to go, I would think that given, hey, this could come up at any time. If you're the Auburn staff, Hugh Freeze, special teams, you need to make sure that you have that guy that you feel very confident in coming in behind him. But I think that they had confidence last year, but you threw a kid out there who had been really good at the high school level that maybe just the pressure, the lights, playing in front of 90, 100,000 fans maybe at times overwhelmed him. But yeah, that will be big if McPherson's not able to go.
Yeah, Towns Magoo or Connor Gibbs. Those are the two names on the depth chart right behind McPherson. And I'm not even going to try to announce or pronounce the punter's name.
Now, Gibbs is the kid that I believe they got from Southern Miss, if I remember that correctly.
He's a junior.
He's a transfer, and he played at Southern Miss.
Are you going to take an attempt at the punter's name?
Oh, it's Hudson Cock. Yeah. Yeah, that's his name. There's no other way around it.
That's going to be such a popular jersey on campus, though.
A lot of creativity, probably, with a personalized jersey, I'm sure.
I mean, we remember the Texas kicker from a couple years ago. Everyone was a big fan of.
Uh-huh.
He is number 14.
It's Cock, spelled with a K, 2 A's, and a K. So if you put a Y in the middle of the 2 A's, his last name would be spelled Kayak.
But that is how you pronounce his name?
Yes.
Okay. I have not seen a phonetic spelling of that. So.
When they landed him through the transfer portal, you don't remember? I would not say his name, and I kept saying Cack. Surely it's Cack. And then after
I'll be honest with you,
several interviews that I saw on YouTube, it is not.
I've never seen it spelled like that.
It is not pronounced Cack. He's an Aussie. Yeah.
Oh, he's from Australia.
Yes.
Okay.
Transfer from Oklahoma State. Hudson Cock.
So he is the punter and also the holder. Okay.
Wonderful young man.
Glad we got that settled.
Yep. Got a good family back home, and seems like he's got a really good head on his shoulders. And he's very thorough when he decided where he was going to transfer.
I will let you handle that name throughout the season.
You need length and girth in this league.
Thank you, Coach.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of sums it up.
All right, this guy.
He's got good measurables. Come on.
So they had to go to so let me see if I get this straight. So they went to Australia to find length and girth.
Well, no, they went to Stillwater, Oklahoma.
But he was via
Mike Gundy went.
Mike Gundy went down under.
Yeah.
So Gundy's the one that found the length and girth in Australia, and now he's transferred to Auburn.
Yes.
I like how this is the conversation I walked in on.
Well, Molly remembers because I was like, surely he doesn't pronounce his name this way when he was in the transfer portal.
Now,
remember that, Molly?
And
I kept pronouncing it Cack.
Mm-hmm. And how do you pronounce it?
It's Cock. The A's are.
I need to look at this.
Remember when South Carolina was trying to come up with a new name for their mascot a couple years ago?
Oh, that's right.
Yep. And they almost named him Hudson.
Yeah, it was almost Hudson Commander. Yeah.
That would have been fun.
That would have been great. I would have voted for it.
All right, he's number 14, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me see. Let's see.
Hudson Cox, Seymour, Australia, St. Mary's High School.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it.
that's
Yeah,
right.
I would say that's.
Hudson Cox, Seymour, Australia, St. Mary's High School.
I promise you, I would not have tripled down with the name unless I was
Unless you
absolutely
knew.
sure that that's the way that he pronounced it.
I'm just making sure here.
Hudson Cox, Seymour, Australia, St. Mary's High School.
Okay.
Seymour, Australia. Is that near Sydney?
No, okay, now hold on a second. Hold on.
Yeah.
So he's from Seymour.
Yeah, I know.
And his last name is what?
Yeah.
Hudson Cox, Seymour, Australia, St. Mary's High School.
Man, these jokes write themselves.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like it's closer to Melbourne.
Melbourne?
Yeah.
He went to Seymour College.
He's seeing a lot more college here.
What's their mascot?
if it's something of the
Something of a chicken variety, perhaps.
yeah, if it's like the Chanticleers or something like that. Okay, well I'm glad we.
It's
got,
a golden eagle.
Oh, that's not what I was looking for.
okay. Seymour College Golden Eagles.
Well, Seymour is the mascot for the University of Southern Mississippi.
Oh.
Is
Well, I
that
type
what-
in Seymour
I know,
College.
and I typed in the same thing,
Ah.
but that's the name of the bird at Southern
Which
Miss.
put Australia there.
Seymour.
Is that an otter?
Looks like it.
Oh, no, that's another name of a mascot. Maybe they don't have a mascot.
Maybe that's why he's here.
Yeah.
Well, not that they didn't offer. No, wait a minute. Seymour College.
It's a
girls'
private.
school.
I just looked up the same thing. It
Oh,
says
wait,
it's a
yeah.
private girls' college.
Oh man,
There might be more to this story.
This is very interesting.
It's an independent boarding school for girls located in Adelaide, South Australia.
Hudson Cox, Seymour, Australia, St. Mary's High School.
It's interesting. He mentioned his high school, but he didn't mention the college.
Okay, so maybe he didn't go to see. He's from
Oh.
Seymour, Australia.
He went from high school to Oklahoma State, right?
But on the Auburn, it says Seymour College.
Yeah, it does.
But when he did his intro, phonetically,
See, now this says Seymour, Australia, but then Oklahoma State.
well, that's where he transferred from.
Yeah.
But
But
see-
it doesn't say Seymour College. Oh, now there it does. And Seymour. What in the world?
See, look,
This is. No, I'm looking at it, Pat. I see it. This
Well-
is confusing.
we've just made Hudson.
People have raved about his punting ability.
We just helped his NIL out because I guarantee you that there's going to be plenty of fraternity guys getting his jersey. He'll be very popular.
I wonder how the announcers do they. I'm sure they're very aware. Whenever he's in the game, it's not like he's the quarterback. They're not going to be saying it constantly, but when he's in the game, not to do certain things that people like me and you would immediately snicker at. Like say,
I think that should be encouraged.
Yeah.
Just
Well,
wait
what do
until
you
they find
typically-
out about
what-
his Seymour lineage.
give me some phrases used to describe a really good punt sometimes, like hang time, moonshot, pins them deep.
Look at that leg.
Shank.
That's got to be wrong. There's no way he went to Seymour College. If it's an all-girls school,
I mean, maybe he played.
and they don't have a football team. I just looked it
Maybe
up.
he played soccer.
Maybe he got a minority scholarship to a girls' school.
Yeah. I mean, a couple years ago, maybe it's just the reverse. A couple years ago at Hewitt-Trussville, we had a female place kicker.
Maybe it just became a girls' school, and that's why he left.
Possibly
They
so.
were like, hey, all the dudes, you're out. We're going all girls. And so he's like Oklahoma State.
It's like the opposite of Florida State. Florida State used to be a all-women's school. And then they let people like FSU Dave in. They changed it.
Really? FSU was an all-female university?
Sure was.
I did not know that. Until, what are we talking, like the 30s, 40s, something like that?
It might have been a little bit later than that.
Really?
Yeah.
That is interesting.
FSU Dave will be up here. He's got something for you a little bit later, so you guys can talk about the history.
I'm going to pull up tape.
He has something for me?
He's got some smoke for you.
Oh, I'm sure he does. He had some for me last Thursday night, too. He was ready.
Was he?
Oh, yeah. Talking smack. Just like Tommy Castellanos.
Yeah. Man, the avenues that we go on and down on this show. Men became allowed in Florida State in 1947.
Okay.
So
I guess right after the war.
Yep, a GI Bill. A lot of the World War II veterans came back.
Wasn't FSU Dave a part of that first class?
He just texted in. He said 1947.
Look how pretty it is. Seymour College. I'm on Google right now still.
She's just going down that rabbit hole big time over here.
It's a really, there's some really pretty buildings.
Well.
There's their student leadership. They wear uniforms.
Okay.
We're about 5 minutes away from Molly finding out that he has a girlfriend that transferred to Auburn, and that's why he ultimately came down here or something like that.
That's exactly probably what it is.
Just like the Riley Leonard investigation last year.
Yeah. Water is your home's worst enemy, and it doesn't need an invitation. It can find its way into your crawl space, bringing along mold, mildew, pests, and wood rot. Call Alabama Professional Services at 205-951-9717. They can help you out immediately. Their crawl space encapsulation system, it can seal out the moisture, block pests, and it can even help reduce your energy bills. Go to their website, alabamaprofessional.com. Number again, 205-951-9717. More three-man front. We're live at Soho Taco on Jox. Nice crowd is growing here at the wonderful Soho Taco. Come on by and see us. Located on the second level. I understand FSU Dave, he's got some smoke for Conrad a little bit later.
He's got a little bit of smoke for me. He didn't like my comment about him being a part of that first male class in 1947 at Florida State University. He sent me a beautiful emoji.
Was he saying number one FSU? Was that what he was sending you?
I think that's how they do number one down there.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, right there. They use the middle finger. Thank you, Dave. I'm glad that you received it in the spirit that it was intended.
Do you remember yesterday Crimson Convict called in, and he had some interesting things to say about PG because PG had predicted that Florida State was going to beat Alabama this weekend. Yeah. And PG is here.
He is.
I know that was one of the questions that Crimson Convict wanted to know if PG was going to be here.
So we're just waiting on Crimson Convict, right?
Yeah, waiting for him to stop on by and see us.
Okay.
So we'll see. We started this show, a disturbing story if you're a YouTube TV subscriber. They are now at a negotiating impasse with the wonderful folks at Fox Television. And so if a deal is not worked out by tomorrow, the game, if you're a YouTube subscriber, on Friday night with Auburn and Baylor, you will be out of luck. You will not be able to see it. Or the Texas-Ohio State game on Saturday.
I know that in the past we used to get the crawl on the bottom of the screen and say, hey, it would give you forewarning. But just hearing about this now, and maybe I'm sure the negotiations or whatever between the two have been going on. But just hearing about it game week really perturbs me. Just like when it happened when the NFL was about to start a couple of years ago and we had something, I can't remember if it wasn't DirecTV, it was some other network that they were having issues with, and you were going to lose it if you had a certain affiliate or carrier. It's just frustrating that you get it. The game, but I guess they know that they can put the pressure on people because you have so many eyeballs that want to watch programming that they normally wouldn't watch.
It's all about the football season. That's where the pressure point is. Whether it's folks, the NFL like me and Conrad, because what'd we go 1 week before it was straightened out? Conrad?
Yeah, it was a week.
Yeah, and I think DirecTV gave us $20.
Yeah, they did.
Ooh.
Take your $10 and eat it, YouTube.
Yeah. So YouTube's going to give Landrum $10.
Well,
and me.
But based on subscribers, YouTube only has 9 million. DirecTV has 12 million, so DirecTV could pay that extra money.
Guess so.
We're just little old YouTube TV guys.
That's actually wild to me that number's gotten so low for DirecTV and YouTube's right there. That's actually pretty impressive.
The only reason that I stuck with DirecTV as long as I did, as far as being wired, was because they kept giving me and Pat every football season. They would lock us in with, hey, by the way, congratulations, you're getting free NFL Sunday ticket. Okay.
See, I need to try that one of these years where I cancel it like 2 weeks ago and try to finagle a free Sunday ticket package out of it.
Well, you know, the last 2 years I've been able to use my son's college account to get a significant discount on Sunday ticket.
That's lucky.
Isn't it? It's like 50% off.
That looks
isn't
about
it?
to run out, though, Molly.
Yeah.
I'm not paying tuition anymore, so.
Good for you.
Yeah, but now I'm going to have to pay full price for Sunday ticket.
But you are saving on the tuition.
Well,
let's weigh the two things out, Pat.
I know. So, speaking of the Friday night game between Auburn and Baylor, so we'll keep you updated if we hear anything on the negotiations between YouTube TV and, of course, Fox Television. It has to do with Robert Griffin III and him being on the Auburn broadcast on Friday night, Molly.
Yeah, so Pat writes, Baylor legend and 2011 Heisman winner RG3 will be the color commentator for Auburn's game on Fox. How do you feel about RG3 being on the call? Love it, great insight, you don't care, or you hate and you will listen to Andy. And right now winning with about 60% of our voters saying they don't really care.
And I think the people that will say I don't care is that they're probably Alabama fans. And, you know, they're probably like, okay, that doesn't really matter. but I do think that a large number of people, whether you're an Alabama fan or Auburn fan, I think what you do is you literally turn down whoever the broadcaster is and you try to sync it up with your favorite radio announcer. I think that's what they do.
RG3 obviously knows that, and the network knows that there's going to be this sentiment. So I wouldn't be surprised if he goes out of his way to probably be more critical of Baylor than he is of Auburn.
Think so?
It can work in reverse fashion.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think he's very good.
I didn't want to go there, but I don't care where he played college football. I don't care where he attended school. He's not on my list of favorites.
No.
When I'm listening and watching a game.
Yeah, me neither. But may not matter because you won't see it anyway.
Oh, I will.
We'll
see
find
it,
a
Pat.
way.
I will not be linking up with you and Conrad's buddy in Guatemala. I will have other options.
Molly will be on the sidelines at Gadsden City.
Mm-hmm.
She will not be watching it anyway. There's Crimson Convict. He has made it.
Yep.
Uh-oh. What's going on
doing?
here?
Oh, he's okay.
He's checking the pulse of PG.
Yeah. Checking to see if PG has a fever because of that outlandish prediction of Florida State beating Alabama.
Oh, wow. Okay. I was getting worried there for a minute because they were got a little tense.
I was like, what's going on?
It's all right. We gotta laugh. Everybody's playing nice right now.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Nobody's
football
consuming
season.
cervezas. That's why.
When we come back,
Get a
we're
couple
going to
in
go
PG.
down to Tallahassee, Florida, and we will hear the very latest from Ira Chappelle from warchant.com, his thoughts on Saturday's big game between Alabama and Florida State. That's next on Three Man Front. It is 11:31. Welcome back. We're live at Social Taco. The crowd continues to swell. Come on up and see us. We're on the Taco Terrace here at Social Taco. Let's go to Tallahassee, Florida. It should be a great atmosphere coming up this Saturday. Joining us from warchant.com is Ira Chappelle. He joins us on the Higginbotham hotline. Ira, I hope the summer's been well for you. I know that Alabama fans and the RVs probably have not made it to Tallahassee yet, but they're coming.
Yeah, not quite yet, but yeah, I'm sure they're there. I've been trying to warn some people that all those tickets on the secondary market probably are going to be bought by Alabama fans, so we'll see what the crowd looks like.
Well, let's start there. Just the atmosphere itself with Doak Campbell going through the refurbishment and a lot of excitement trying to put last year in the rearview mirror. How is the secondary ticket market? I mean, you think this is going to be a very difficult ticket for either an FSU or Alabama fan?
It has been so far. You know, as you get closer to kickoff, maybe it loosens up a little bit, but I've heard people asking $500-$600 a ticket. And again, you know, it's just it speaks to the stadium's a little bit smaller now. They did decrease the capacity. It's no longer 80,000 or so. It's going to be 68,000 with the renovations, but they're also, you know, it's just going to be there's a lot of excitement around the Florida State fan base, but certainly Alabama fans always travel, so it should be a hot ticket.
Ira, going back to last season, I know Florida State fans want to forget about it. Nobody saw 2-10 coming. What do you make up for, or I guess account for the reasoning for that? Was that just misses through the transfer portal? Was it a culmination of different things? And why should we believe that Florida State should be markedly better this season?
That's definitely a culmination of a bunch of different things. There were some misses in the transfer portal, but I think more important than that was the evaluations of their own team coming back. That led to them making some bad evaluations. Starting first and foremost, they were convinced they'd be able to run the football. They had been running the football the last 2 or 3 years really well, but a lot of that was because you had Jordan Travis, and I think they mistakenly thought a lot of that was the offensive line. Well, then you get into the season, and you can't run the football at all, and it turns out, if you don't have a mobile quarterback, those offensive linemen couldn't get it done. And then you went out and signed a quarterback in DJ Uyunglele, who you knew wasn't a really good runner, but you thought could operate behind a good offensive line with a good running game. So when they were wrong on that, it set everything else into motion for being wrong as well. Then I think the other big part of it was when they evaluated players in the portal, they, for the first time really under Mike Norvell, went after guys that were highly recruited guys coming out of high school, but who really hadn't done anything in college. You look at Jalen Brown at receiver from LSU, Marvin Jones Jr., the defensive end from Georgia, Earl Little, a safety from Alabama, several guys from Alabama who hadn't proven much, that they thought, well, they were highly recruited coming out of high school. They just couldn't play at those schools. They'll come here and they'll help us out. Very few of those guys panned out at all. Most of them are not even here anymore. So it was a combination of things. I also think Mike Norvell probably got a little bit complacent, and his staff got a little complacent after winning 13 games the year before. And it was just a perfect storm of ineptitude.
One thing's for sure, a lot of Alabama fans, they remember the uneasiness of going up against Gus Malzahn's type of offenses. In regards to his offense and what he's bringing to Tallahassee, and now Tommy Castellanos coming on board as the starting quarterback, does that give Florida State folks a little bit more confidence going into this game against Alabama?
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I didn't answer the last part of your last question about, why should people think this team's going to be different? A lot of it starts with Tommy Castellanos and Gus Malzahn. I mean, this was they put all their eggs in that basket, especially the Tommy Castellanos basket. When Gus Malzahn agreed to join Mike Norvell at Florida State this year, a big part of it, I really believe, was that they knew Tommy Castellanos was available. He had already left his team at Boston College. Gus has compared Tommy to Nick Marshall athletically. He said he's very much like a Nick Marshall, who obviously, helped Auburn get to the national championship game against Florida State in 2013. So they're really excited about what he can do athletically. They surrounded it with some nice pieces. You bring in Deuce Robinson, a 6'6" receiver from Southern Cal, Squirrel White, a guy who was at Tennessee and caught over 60 passes a couple of years ago. So they've got some talent around him. They also brought in, 4 new transfers on the offensive line. But, Gus being able to kind of recapture his magic as a play caller, and then Tommy bringing his athleticism to Gus's offense, they're really hoping that could be the formula that gives them a chance in a game like this.
You know, Ira, we've been fascinated because of the relationship to this state and the ties that Gus has. And let's be honest, that it's a lot more fun to talk about offense than it is defense. But on the defensive side, Tony White coming in, we know what he was able to do in his first season there at Nebraska. Not only the mindset, the philosophy of White and his staff on that side of the ball, but some of the Jimmies and Joes that will make up that group. How effective can they be against this Alabama offense?
That's honestly my biggest question. You know, even though I think Alabama's defense is rightfully getting a ton of credit because of all the talent they have, I think Florida State's got a decent chance to move the ball with Guz's offense, with Tommy and some of the skill players they have in that new offensive line. I'm a little bit more concerned about Florida State's defense, even though there's some questions about Alabama's, you know, offense probably with a new quarterback and some of the things they're having to deal with. But, you know, there's some returning players that are pretty good in the secondary. You know, the defensive backs coach for Florida State, Patrick Surtain, a longtime NFL great. His son obviously is probably the best corner in the NFL. He's been recruiting for Florida State the last few years, really at a high level at defensive back. That's the one position where Florida State has really recruited at a high level. Then they picked up a nice transfer portal piece in Jerry Wilson, who had 4 picks last year at Houston. So I think the secondary is going to be okay. I'm concerned about Florida State's defensive front. You know, they brought back Darrell Jackson in the middle of the defense. He looks like an NFL, you know, star. He's 6'5", 335 pounds, but he's never really played like it consistently. So we'll see if they can get that out of him. And then at defensive end, you have a transfer from Nebraska, James Williams, who was a walk-on when he first got to Nebraska, but is established, you know, proven he can be a pass rusher. We'll see what he looks like on non-passing downs. And then the other defensive end is a transfer from Tennessee, Jason Jenkins, who was a, you know, role player at Tennessee and is coming off of an Achilles injury from January. That's your starting defensive line. I mean, that's not probably how you'd want to draw it up going up against that Alabama offensive line. But that's going to be the key to the game. If they can't slow down Alabama's running game, I just think they're going to have a tough time in this game.
Ira Chappelle joins us from warchant.com, part of the On3 network. He joins us previewing the Alabama game against Florida State. Let me ask you about 2 familiar names within our audience, and that's Roydell Williams, who is listed as potentially as the #1 running back for Florida State, and also Squirrel White, that we're very familiar with, obviously, with his days at Tennessee. How did those 2 individuals have, and how did they perform in fall camp?
Very different stories, but as you said, you know, they're both expected to start in this game. Squirrel, you know, again, 2 years ago had a huge season for Tennessee, over 60 catches when their offense was really flying high. Last year at Tennessee, he was kind of banged up. He had a knee injury, he had a couple other things going on, and didn't have the production, only caught 30-something passes, which, you know, hey, for Florida State and their passing game, that looks like, you know, those are big time numbers. But you know, they think he's going to recapture what he did earlier at Tennessee. He's one of the fastest players on the team. Not a big guy at all, but he can really run. In preseason camp, he's hit a lot of long touchdown passes for this offense. So there's a lot of excitement about what he can bring. Roydell's a little bit different. He's a former, you know, he's a key player at Alabama when he was there. But last year he didn't look great when he played early in the season because nobody looked good in this Florida State offense. And then he got hurt and missed almost the entire season. So I think Florida State fans aren't really sure what to expect out of him. But I think he's going to give them that kind of tough, hard-nosed guy that can run between the tackles. He's got veteran leadership, you know, a guy that's played a ton of college football. But the real talent in that backfield probably lies with a true freshman, Usman Kromah, who Florida State was able to flip away from Georgia late in the signing process. And he's maybe the more talented guy in that backfield. But I think Roydell will be the guy that gets carries early until they can kind of get the game, you know, get their game legs underneath them.
When it comes to the outcome of the game, not necessarily just from you, Ira, but Florida State fans that you talk to, what is the expectation coming off such a dismal year and so many question marks that you've raised here with us?
You know, I think there are some fans, there are always going to be some fans who, you know, are believe in the stars and think that, you know, every year can be a dream season, and maybe it can. But I think realistically, most Florida State fans would really like this game to be competitive and to be a game where it's a competitive football game, maybe even into the fourth quarter. Maybe you have a chance to spring the upset down the stretch. I don't think most Florida State fans are super confident going into this game. I mean, I think they're realistic. And I think when you look at what Florida State needs to do, what Mike Norvell needs to do in this game, is they just need to compete. If they compete for 4 quarters, no matter what the score is, if the guys try hard, if they look competently coached, if they look like they have a game plan, they know what they're doing, that'll be such a vast improvement over last year that even if you aren't in the game in the last few series, I think Florida State fans can live with it, because honestly, there's still a bunch of games on the schedule that they could and should win if those other things are there. But if they come out and look like they did last year, where they don't look like they're well coached and they don't really play hard, that's going to be a disaster, and that's going to really have the fan base in a bad place. So, again, Florida State fans are proud. They're going to want to win the game. But I think even if it just looks good and competitive, I think they can walk away from this game thinking there's more left of the season.
Ira, how do you personally kind of handicap the ACC this season? Do you believe that it's going to be deeper than it was last year, up towards the top? Are you going to have the same names? Are you going to have someone come out of the blue, kind of like SMU did last year? How are you looking at the ACC this season?
Yeah, I think Clemson's going to be a runaway train. I just think if Cade Klubnik is the guy that we saw later last season, and I believe he probably is, I think Clemson's just going to steamroll this conference. And I think there are some other schools. I think Louisville will be well coached. I think he does a great job. I think SMU will be well coached, and they've done a good job with replenishing their roster. I think Miami has a lot of pieces in place. I'm not convinced in Mario Cristobal and his staff and their ability to get guys consistently ready week to week. They were 2 up and 2 down last season with as much talent as they have. So I think there's some decent teams in the middle, but I think Clemson's just head and shoulders, and everybody else is playing for second place.
And finally, I'm going to ask you a pedestrian question, but this could come into play because Alabama's special teams units, they have not had the very best of fall camp. How's the weather supposed to be for that game at Doak Campbell?
There is a chance for some rain in Tallahassee. For people that have been in Florida, you know that if you're trying to do something outdoors in the afternoon, there's a good chance there's going to be some water involved. And I think there's a chance there will be some rain on Saturday. But, it is a brand-new field. They just put in a field. It's one of these fields that you can put in and play on immediately. And it's basically the kind of field they put in when they play a Super Bowl, and they just come in and just plop down a field. It's called lay and play. So I think the field will be in good shape. But, yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if we did get some wet stuff on Saturday.
That is Ira Chappelle. You can follow his work. Nobody's better than covering Florida State than Ira. Always appreciate you taking time for us, Ira. It should be a fun atmosphere and a good game. I think everyone believes that this is not going to be a blowout on Saturday. Thanks as always, Ira, and hope to catch up with you during the season.
Same here. You guys too. Enjoy it. And for everybody that's traveling, safe travels, and enjoy the game.
Thanks, Ira.
Thank you very much. That is Ira Chappelle joining us from warchant.com. Just a class act. Known Ira a very long time, and nobody covers Florida State better than Ira. He was on the Higginbotham hotline. You deserve solutions that are built for you. Higginbotham is your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services.
And we always want to tell you about the Finnick. There's no better place in town to enjoy sports and music than the Finnick. The Finnick's your front row seat to the best entertainment, the massive screens, the explosive sound from every seat in the house. The experience is unlike any other in the Finnick's new restaurant menu. It's certainly worth cheering for. You got wings that are going to win MVPs. You got wood-fired burgers that are stacked like your favorite fantasy team. Got a new 6-day schedule that includes live acoustic acts beginning tomorrow. That's Wednesday through Friday. Live bands on Fridays beginning at 10 p.m. Saturdays, Sundays, and Mondays dedicated to sports. No live music to get in the way. UAB fans get in there before the game versus Alabama State on Thursday. Auburn fans, if you don't have a place to watch, I can promise you that you can watch the broadcast there at the Finnick on Friday. And I can promise you that they will turn the music down and you'll be able to enjoy Auburn and Baylor. enjoy the Finnick not only this weekend but all season long. We can't wait to see you at the Finnick, 1630 2nd Avenue South near Railroad Park. Just getting started. It's Tuesday edition live from Soho Taco in Homewood. We've got new guests. We've got return guests that have joined us here. We continue. It's three-man front in your home for college football and more. Jox.
You just heard the interview with Ira Chappelle from warchant.com. I'm not putting words in his mouth, but if you're reading between the lines based on his answer to your question, Landrum, it sounds like that there's not a lot of confidence from Florida State folks that they will be able to pull the upset.
No, and that's why I asked the question. You go from the 13 wins to the 2-10 that nobody saw coming and just historically bad to this year, and you're opening up with Alabama, who's got something to prove. But when I hear things like, and he's just being honest, you want to see your team play hard for 4 quarters. That throws up a little bit of a red flag to me.
Do you feel better now, Conrad, after you heard Ira?
I mean, I don't know if I would say I feel better. I was definitely shocked, like y'all, to hear, just the sentiment of, oh, well, as long as they play hard, and even if it's not that close at the end, but they executed the game plan and everyone knew their role and their position. That is a little jarring. But no, I mean, I felt again, I think Alabama can win by double digits. I'm predicting 38-17. I don't think they're going to have too much trouble with it. I think early on Gus can, throw some wrinkles in there. But, I mean, I know they're going to be better than last year, but I still think they're probably a 7-5 football team. And if you're Alabama and they're as good as we think they are, then it really shouldn't be too much of a problem for you on Saturday.
Alabama is still a 13.5-point favorite. The point total is 50.5, so there has not been much movement on either one of those areas.
There hasn't been any wavering for me on does Alabama win this football game. It's what does it look like? Does Alabama control Florida State and kind of name their scorer? Does this game look like it did in Madison, Wisconsin a year ago when Alabama played Wisconsin? If I'm an Alabama fan, I want to see that. Not that meant that great things, you still weren't going to drop 4 ball games, but I want to see that. Go into opponent stadium where they're fired up, you're going to get their best, and control the game for 4 quarters.
I agree. That's a good comparison.
And I think Alabama can do that.
That's a good measuring stick because you go into a place like Camp Randall, very difficult place to play. It was a morning game, if I'm not mistaken, right? Wasn't it like an 11 o'clock
11 a.m.
So it had all the makings, especially with Kalen DeBoer taking the team over, taking them on the road in his first year at Alabama.
Yeah.
That had the makings of potentially them losing that game. Now, obviously, talent was something that overtook that. Speaking of talent, for the second year in a row, Conrad, the Alabama Crimson Tide, according to 247, they have the most talent, according to 247, on their team talent composite.
Oh, no, don't let Greg see that.
Alabama, number 1, Georgia 2, Ohio State is 3. This year marks the 8th consecutive team talent composite with those 3 teams in the same order occupying the top 3 spots. That is amazing. Alabama 1, Georgia 2, Ohio State 3.
Was Alabama 1 last year?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
According to the team talent composite, Bama was number 1 last year. They're number 1 again this year. Georgia is 2. Ohio State 3. And over that 8-year time frame that those 3 schools have dominated the team composite feature, they have accounted for 5 national championships in the past 8 seasons. Bama in 17 and 20, Georgia in 21 and 22, and Ohio State in 2024. Alabama's hold on number 1 now spans 5 years. Georgia number 2 in each of those years represents the last team other than Alabama to sit on top spot of the composite. And that came in 2020 when Alabama was 2nd, but Alabama ended up winning the national championship.
I don't think that would surprise most people, those top 3 teams.
Texas comes in at number 4. It's the 2nd consecutive year that they have been number 4 on the list. Oregon is number 5. Just looking down the list.
Where's Penn State?
They are number 9.
Okay. If Penn State would have been in that top 3, that would have gotten my attention.
Yes.
What'd they say about Nebraska, Molly?
It says a top ranking in team talent composite.
So congratulations, Alabama. You've won a title before the season began. Most talented team in America.
Well, like Auburn, can they claim this as a national championship and put it on the stadium?
I say build a new building just dedicated to these type of rankings.
Oh, boy. FSU Dave has arrived, and he is not happy at Lantrum.
He shouldn't be happy.
He's happy at me?
He's just hoping his team plays hard for 4 quarters.
It is 12 noon, and it's just an incredible crowd. We talk about this every Tuesday. Had so many people come up at the Jox party the other night, Landrum, talking about, man, it sounds like you guys have such a great time on Tuesday. We've got new listeners that are coming by and saying hello to us and getting an opportunity to get to meet everybody, because it really is a family atmosphere up here. Jody in Trustful, he stopped by. He's having lunch, and we've had some new listeners come on by, so it's a great time here each and every Tuesday.
Yeah, it certainly is. And FSU Dave, he is not happy with the two of us in our comments about Florida State. You missed it. Ira Chappelle, War Chant, joining us in the last hour, and the highlight of our conversation would have been the hope, the expectation for a lot of Florida State fans as they play hard for 4 quarters on Saturday.
I mean, that's kind of what I heard, but apparently FSU Dave was listening to an old interview, because he claimed to me and you that that's not what he said.
Well, so. He admitted that he said that. He said because we didn't see that from Florida State last year, implying that they quit. They didn't play hard for 4 quarters, and it will take a 4-quarter effort if they're going to be in the ball game in the 4th quarter versus this Alabama team, in my opinion.
1-800-239-WJOX. That is the phone number. Let's go to Dave in Hoover, who joins us sometimes here on Tuesdays. Dave, I hope you're doing well.
Hey, Dave.
Yeah, I might be there about 1:30. I don't know. I've got a call coming up here in a minute. But so, look, Caleb DeBoer's picked up really right where Nick Saban left off as far as recruiting. Looks like he's going to be just fine in that area. I guess the question is going to be, time will only tell if he's able to develop what he brings in. You remember Jimbo Fisher had arguably, they said, the greatest, recruiting class in the history of college football, and he couldn't get more than 9 wins out of it, right? So
Yep. Yeah.
We'll see. I'm a little bit nervous. Doak Campbell's a hard place to play. I mean, it gets loud. I'm a little nervous about it, but I'm not nervous the fact that I think Alabama's going to lose, but I do feel like it's going to be close. They may pull it out a little bit later, but FSU Dave, I think I heard him say something like that too. As long as we keep it competitive, I'm happy.
The Gus Malzahn factor for me, Dave, is what's interesting. Just not that Gus Malzahn and that offense can win the game. They're going to have to play defense, and as we've seen, Gus Malzahn offenses, they get off to a really good start. Maybe they play well, put up points in the first half, and then the second half they kind of get figured out, and it becomes a little bit static. But it does add more intrigue for me with this being the first game of the season, having a new quarterback, having some of those new pieces, and then Gus being able to, for months, kind of game plan and see where to attack this Alabama defense.
Yeah. Real quick about Georgia. So I saw a stat the other day. You guys can research it. That said Kirby has more first-round draft picks than he does losses.
Oh, wow.
He has 20 first-round draft picks, but only 19 losses to this
That
point.
is impressive. Very impressive.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, guys. Take care.
Thank you, Dave. Appreciate it. Thank you for the call. 1-800-239-WJOX. The brand-new quarterback for the Alabama Crimson Tide, Ty Simpson, he met with the media a little while ago in Tuscaloosa. This is Ty talking about the running back rotation at Alabama.
Yeah, hurting Jam definitely hurt us. That's my roommate, that's my guy. Love him to death, man. But something that it speaks a lot about Jam is he's not gonna be down on himself. He's gonna help those young guys. So I think about Richard Young, Daniel Hill, transfer with Dre, and then Kevin Riley, A.K. Deere, all those guys coming up. And they're taking reps and just gaining knowledge, and Jam's in the back just talking to them, coaching them up, man. So those guys have done a great job. They're meeting with me all the time, just trying to make sure that, hey, when their number gets called, that they're ready to go. And Coach G and those guys have done a great job just getting them ready, and I'm excited to watch them play Saturday.
That was Ty Simpson talking about his roommate, Jam Miller, who obviously hurt his collarbone a couple weeks ago, and he will be out. For Alabama fans, they hope that he's back for the Georgia game. Could be sooner. We'll wait to see how he rehabs on that collarbone. But Ty Simpson talking about the running back room. So 1-800-239-WJOX. The courtesy GMC text line is 205-834-9450. We were just talking about Ira Chappelle just a minute ago. Let's take a listen back to what he told us just a few minutes ago in regards to that game between Alabama and Florida State.
What Florida State needs to do, what Mike Norvell needs to do in this game, is they just need to compete. If they compete for 4 quarters, no matter what the score is, if the guys try hard, if they look competently coached, if they look like they have a game plan, they know what they're doing, that'll be such a vast improvement over last year that even if you aren't in the game in the last few series, I think Florida State fans can live with it because honestly, there's still a bunch of games on the schedule that they could and should win if those other things are there. But if they come out and look like they did last year, where they don't look like they're well coached and they don't really play hard, that's going to be a disaster, and that's going to really have the fan base in a bad place. So, again, Florida State fans are proud. They're going to want to win the game, but I think even if it just looks good and competitive, I think they can walk away from this game thinking there's more left to the season.
Interesting comments from Ira Chappelle.
Yeah, it just kind of gives you an idea of how quickly things can change with your favorite college football team and your favorite program going from 13 wins, should have been in, should have had a shot to play for a natty, to going 2-10 to the following season leading into game 1. Hopefully we can give the effort. But it's understandable, and not making light of what Ira said, you've got to have that. And there was a lot of dysfunction among that Florida State team last year. The biggest takeaway for me is what he had to say about the Florida State defense.
Conrad, I know I'm doing this on the fly, but we're going to have to give some breaking news sounder. Can you please give that to us?
I think I know exactly where we're going with this.
Unfortunately.
Okay, go ahead. Go.
Just bear with us, people. Bear with us. That sound means that there is breaking news here on the show. Reluctantly, I throw it to the breaking news desk where Pat Smith is begrudgingly going to break this news. Pat.
Thank you, Landrum. I have to report to our audience that it has just been made official. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce have announced they are engaged.
That's big.
The big story, Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift, they are engaged to be married.
So, Conrad, it'll be what do you think? That you think they move out and they wait, or they continue to live in sin?
I guess they're going to continue to live in sin. But it is funny that the second that was announced, we got a text from not only Molly but my wife also. The news couldn't have been out for more than 10 seconds.
We don't have a speaker in here. I'm going to announce it to the group.
Okay, let's listen.
And let's see.
Stand up and get everybody's attention. Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention. We do have breaking news here on the show. This is serious. I just told them Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift are now engaged. Yay!
Lukewarm.
I heard a couple disgruntled groans in there, I think.
Yeah, I was not quite. Don Don was like the only one that...
Don Don was the only one who clapped.
So they won't be sending wedding invitations to Soho Taco, you don't think?
Constance just did a barfing motion, which is great. I'm here for all of those. Wonderful.
I think half the crowd was hoping you would say that like either Hugh Freeze had been fired or Kalen DeBoer had stepped down. I think they were hoping that maybe that was going to be the announcement.
There's your breaking news right there.
Some wonderful pictures I'm seeing. It's very...
So...
What other player gets engaged in the NFL tweets out congratulations? That doesn't happen.
I just tweeted that.
That doesn't happen.
I mean, it's just I've never seen that before. Oh boy. Are you okay?
I'm fine.
You seem a little shell-shocked here.
I don't appreciate it was the vinyl announcement that she had. We're trying to get ready for football season. Once again, Taylor Swift.
She's just taking it over.
She's just taking it over.
So engagement party at the Cincinnati-Nebraska game this Thursday, perhaps?
Oh, there's so much to do. So much planning. They do it at Arrowhead.
Huh. This is interesting.
What?
The NFL has I tried to quote tweet it, Conrad.
Did they already delete it?
They deleted it.
Oh.
Oh, see, there's the Shield carries a lot of power, Pat, but Taylor Swift, maybe she has more. Maybe she didn't want people. Maybe this wasn't supposed to come out yet.
Wow. I wish I'd done a screen grab.
Did McMurphy jump the gun on this? Is he the one that helped put this out there?
That is amazing.
Here you go, Pat. I got you. I got you.
A few months from now, leading up to the wedding or whenever they're going to do this, she's going to release another album, and it's going to be entitled Cold Feet. And then we'll have this whole saga that plays out. My question is she with child?
Oh, is that the next conspiracy?
Well, I thought I would go ahead and ask the question.
Well, now here's the thing. I mean, I'm on their it's still on the NFL's. It was weird. I tried to quote tweet it, and then it came up, and it said it had been deleted.
See, I still had the Twitter search pulled up, so I was able to grab a picture of the post. But, yeah, when I went to go actually click on it, it's gone.
So Landrum thinks she's pregnant. So that's...
I didn't say that. I asked the question, is she with child?
What do you think, Conrad? Yay, nay?
Did they do this at the Botanical Gardens, or is that one of her 19 houses' backyard?
I'm willing to bet that's maybe a nice vineyard somewhere.
The ivy there over the arbor. It's very nice. Look at him.
So basically, Travis Kelce just got his 4th ring.
Just to give you an idea of how big that dude is, he is on his knees. And he actually comes up to her, I would say, clavicle bone.
So my question is, why didn't they do it during the podcast? I mean, seriously.
You can't rush love,
because you got family there, right?
Maybe they would have thought that was a cheap trick to get people to watch. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, like the Kelces are not.
Yeah, like they care about that.
In a cheap trick whatsoever.
Awesome.
I wonder how. I guess the Swifties are happy. I guess Molly's happy. Is your wife happy, Conrad?
Oh, she is over the moon.
I hope she doesn't lose her edge now.
Well, now
writing her music.
She's gonna lose her edge.
Yep.
Now it's really official because Adam Schefter just tweeted it.
That's so stupid.
It says, on the day of hundreds of NFL transactions, the biggest one of all, Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift are engaged. This is like European soccer stuff. You know how, like on the tabloids in London, how it's always about this striker for this Premier League team is dating this, back page model. You know what I'm saying? Or like when the Spice Girl, what's her name?
I hope Travis takes a stand and he takes her name. Hyphenates his Kelce Swift.
Kelce Swift, I like that. Kind of differentiate himself between him and his brother.
Right.
Yeah, I like it. This was all a plan to get Jim Leavitt off the front page of the sports section.
Yeah,
That's exactly what it was. Since he was arrested down in Florida.
Oh. Well, so much excitement.
Yeah, and based on our audience, their lukewarm approach to that was.
I knew that would go over like that.
And I'm sure
with this group.
I'm sure the text line will be as interesting as well. So
well,
that's the big national news.
I feel sorry for Conrad and other men like him who have wives or girlfriends that adore Taylor Swift and are going to be so overwhelmed with excitement and sharing in her joy or happiness.
Well, fortunately, I'll be working a local sporting event tonight, so Paige can have a little Taylor Swift concert at home by herself.
My wife, there will not be giddiness. I mean, she's okay with Taylor Swift, but she's not a Swiftie per se.
Yeah, mine will be the same way.
It'll be okay, whatever.
And by the way, if you click on the link that you sent us, Conrad, it now says that page does not exist.
I've never seen Molly more excited in her life. I think she would rather Taylor Swift be happy than herself be happy.
Do you think this is a hoax, or is this actually happening?
I think it's happening.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
based on when I watched the podcast, I don't think there's any question that these two really care for each other.
Oh, no.
I do not think that this is a ruse.
She lets her
whatsoever.
guard down. She gets a little goofy when she's around him. She's smitten with him. That's great. That's wonderful. If they genuinely love each other, then get married before God and hopefully have a happy life together.
Absolutely. Get back to school in a brand new GMC from Courtesy GMC in Trussville. You'll find the lowest prices in the Southeast at Courtesy GMC. Right now, you can get these amazing deals. GMC Sierra 1500, save up to $17,000. Sierra 2500 HD, get up to $13,000 off this powerful heavy-duty pickup. Yukon XL, either trim, save $5,000 on these top-performing SUVs. And the 2026 Acadias, they have arrived, so get by and see Drew Liley, Josh Gargas, fantastic team there at Courtesy GMC. And don't forget, every new GMC comes with a 7-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty for long-lasting peace of mind. Visit Courtesy GMC today, located at Trussville, just off of I-459 exit 32. You can also browse their inventory online at courtesybirmingham.com.
We continue as we're live from Soho Taco here in Homewood. The terrace is open. Come and join us upstairs, the Mix and Match Taco Tuesday. But the chicken feathers, we got a fresh batch of the fried chicken right here. Or if you want to go with a burrito, maybe a bowl of Mexican pizza is always nice. And don't forget about brunch on the weekends, 10 to 2:30 on Saturdays and Sundays for the bottomless tapas brunch. SocialTaco.bar for more information. We continue talking college football. We'll get to a lot of your text. You're weighing in. We want to hear from you. 205-834-9450 here on this Tuesday. It's three-man front on Jox.
It is 12:21. Welcome back. This is Social Taco, three-man front. Pat Langrum, Conrad, switching out with Molly. Molly's now back at the radio station. Molly, you were en route. Did you almost drive off the side of the road when you found out that Taylor Swift is engaged?
Pat, I'm not going to lie. It's a really good thing that I just happened to be at a red light when I got the news on my phone, because I was freaking out. What I texted you guys was genuine, pure, raw reaction of how I was feeling in that moment.
So you're pretty happy about this?
Oh, I'm super happy, of course. And I'm glad that they're happy.
How's the text line, Angel? How are they treating us?
It's good. You had a couple of comments on there, but as expected, there's just some people that don't care to hear about anything in her life. But that's breaking news. It's legitimate. 205-834-9450. Like, for instance, talk about something people care about. Now we're going to talk about your text. Jimmy says, I'm taking the under on all Kelce stats this year. Good idea, Jimmy. Or maybe this has been something that's been really weighing on him. And now he can just be free. He was thinking about how am I going to do it. There's so much pressure. Mom, brother asking me constantly, when you going to do it? When you going to do it?
Yeah.
Now that he's done it, maybe he's as free as a bird. He can just run around and catch all kinds of footballs this year.
1-800-239-WJOX. Let's go to Cowboy, who's out in the Metroplex. Hey, Cowboy, what's going on?
How you doing, Pat? Everybody? I'm all right. I about had a stomach attack of regurgitation when y'all mentioned that Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift were engaged. I mean, could the Kelce brothers, two Neanderthals, if it wasn't for social media, I mean, guys, what charisma do they have besides both being douches, you know? I mean,
goodness
gracious. I mean, and then, you know, Taylor Swift, you got to get a parade of her going in the stadium every time. Heck, when Tom Brady was married to Gisele Bundchen, she was 30 times better looking than Taylor Swifty, whatever you call her. And we didn't get that parade every Sunday or flashed up in the box to show her and all that. But I guess just enough of that talk.
Yeah, so let's talk about the FSU-Alabama game. I know you have been very critical of Kalen DeBoer. How do you think this is going to turn out on Saturday?
If he can't beat SMU, I mean, if he can't win that game, then I guess it would be kind of bad. But, you know, I don't know. You got to, you know, do a whole body of work and see what happens this year. You know, I'm going to stick with my guns on him. You know, I got a guy sent me a picture of this defensive line group called the Mob Squad. There's one guy in the back of the picture shooting birds at everybody. It's Kalen DeBoer party. He has no control. Your guy from Trussville out there kicked the ball, told the coach he wasn't coming off the field, and all that kind of stuff.
That's what happens when you lose to Vanderbilt. It brings out a lot of bad in people. That's what that was.
Yeah. Well, there was no discipline after that. He got away with it. But, you know, I don't really want to worry about that. We'll just see how it shakes out, you know.
So let me ask you this. What is the ceiling and what is the basement for Alabama this year?
I think he'll be 10-2 or 9-3.
Okay. All right. What if he goes 9-3 in the regular season and you don't go to the college football playoff? How do you feel about that?
Well, I didn't hire him. That guy's gonna have to start answering some questions. Why he hired the guy? Who orchestrated this thing? This was a done deal when Jimmy Sexton was hired by Kalen DeBoer in November of 2023 as his new agent. Kalen DeBoer is outside the Jimmy Sexton tree of all the coaches that came into his tree. It's an interesting deal. Maybe one day we'll know all this, but
Well, I do agree with you in one aspect, and I do think that if he does go 9-3 or 8-4, and you don't make the college football playoff, because it's the second year in a row that Alabama, according to people that do this for a living, and I'm talking about these so-called talent experts, and I'm using air quotes there, that 247 says that Alabama's got more talent than Georgia or Ohio State on their current roster, and if you can't win more than 9 ball games with that type of talent, you got a serious problem in Tuscaloosa. Now, do I think that they're going to get rid of him based on the fact that you're going to owe him $60 million? The answer to that is no. But we're having a completely different conversation going into 2026 if he does not find his way in the college football playoff this year.
2026 will be interesting whether he does well this year or not, because we've never seen him in a major college football program with a third-year body of work. He's 2 at Fresno, 2 at Washington. He's like an NCAA tournament wonder. We'll see how it works. Greg Burns is, betting his Nate Oates luck on this one.
Well, one thing's for sure, Cowboy, you have been consistent from day one on your feelings about Kalen DeBoer and this Alabama football program. So I guess we'll just see how it turns out this season.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to be a bad dude or anything. It's just, we have 3 starting quarterbacks across the country that was on the 2023 roster at other schools. Dylan Lonergan at Boston College, Eli Holstein at Pittsburgh, and now Julian Sayans at Ohio State. Now, Julian Sayans came there for Nick Saban, I guess, pretty much so. But Kalen DeBoer did not even try to sell him on what his program was. He immediately brought Austin Mack with him, and now we have the starting quarterback at Ohio State that was at Alabama. And Jalen Milroe said in the bowl preparation for Rose Bowl, in the 2024 Rose Bowl, that this Julian Sayans kid can sling it. He's got some arm.
Listen, as soon as Nick Saban said he was not going to return as Alabama's coach, Sayans was out the door. There was never a conversation with Kalen DeBoer. Sayans was gone. I mean, his parents felt jilted because it was like 2 weeks before, Nick Saban was in California taking a picture with them and everything was hunky-dory. Yeah. And then all of a sudden he comes to Tuscaloosa and Saban decides to retire. So they were not happy about that. I don't care who they brought in. I don't think Julian Sayans was going to stay in Tuscaloosa based on that. Hey, Cowboy, we need to run. Thank you for the phone call.
All right, buddy. Good talking to you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that very much. The number here, 1-800-239-WJOX. The courtesy GMC text line, 205-834-9450. More live from Soho Taco when we come back. 12:32. This is Three Man Front. Jox, Pat, Landrum, Conrad will be here in a moment. Molly was here a little bit earlier in the program. She's back high top Red Mountain. We have a little Alabama football schedule news. This should not come as any surprise whatsoever, but my partner's going to tell you about Mystic Beverage then. I'll tell you who Alabama just canceled off their schedule.
You want to elevate your game this college football season, you can do it with our friends at Mystic Beverage, mysticbeverage.com. You can check out the assortment of different products that they offer. They're made in Blount County, Alabama. If you want to go with the Nirvanic, the High Hills, or my favorite, the Lift Blend that's got the green coffee bean extract, it's going to pick you up when you need that pick-me-up, and it's not going to leave you feeling queasy. I know that some people, if you're like me, you feel like coffee in the morning, but especially when it's still warm outside, coffee later in the day, it's just not for me. Maybe it's for you, but that's why I go with the Lift Blend. All different flavors and a new look that you can choose from. I love the mango, also the southern berry. If you want to go with the watermelon, you can try that as well. MysticBeverage.com. Check out the website, mysticbeverage.com. Great alternative to alcohol this college and NFL season.
Well, you knew it was coming, Landrum. SEC announces that they're going to move to 9 games, and we talked about the impressive non-conference schedule that Alabama is going to have for the rest of this decade, playing the likes of West Virginia, Ohio State, going on and on and on. Well, it is being reported in the state of West Virginia that Bama and West Virginia have mutually agreed to cancel the upcoming home-and-home football series. An official announcement could be issued as soon as this afternoon that the 2026-2027 games will not happen and the series will not be rescheduled. Additionally, due to the nature of the agreement, the expectation is that no payments are involved in the cancellation. If confirmed, that's potentially an important note for the Mountaineers because obviously that was going to be a huge, huge money-making situation for them to play at Alabama, and that is going by the wayside. So it appears that the 9-game SEC conference schedule will now start affecting a lot of these non-conference opponents for not only Alabama but for Auburn and everybody else.
Well, I don't know if Rich Rod would admit it, but he's going into his first season and his return there probably doesn't hurt his feelings too much. They can find some of that revenue, make up for it in other areas, but he's trying to get that program back to the way that he remembers it when he left, and maybe it was beneficial for both parties. Alabama with a 9-game conference schedule beginning next year, and then, of course, West Virginia. Go and find somebody else that's a Power 4 if you want to pick up another Power 4 that you feel like you might have a better opportunity to win.
Well, it's also interesting because and this is coming from the West Virginia Mountaineer 247 site, they are saying that Neil Brown, for years before he was fired at West Virginia, that he wanted to get out of the game. He did not want to play Alabama. And so now, because of the 9-game SEC schedule, it now goes by the wayside.
We saw Alabama, West Virginia in one of those games to start the season.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to remember who the West Virginia quarterback was. But, yeah, we've seen that before. I don't know if – now, Alabama, Ohio State being canceled, that resonates. Alabama, West Virginia, take it or leave it, right?
Yeah, I think the Ohio State-Alabama game will continue to be at least on the books temporarily, and then we'll see if the SEC and Big Ten work out some type of scheduling agreement before they decide to axe that. Let's go to Jason and Pelham. He joins us now on Three Man Front. Hey, Jason.
What's going on? From now on, when Cowboy calls in, you just should refer to him as Drunk Rodney. I swear, I got on the phone. Got in my car, I turned it on, I'm driving, I start listening to what's being said. I'm like, Rodney Orr's lost his dadgum mind. Their voices are almost identical.
Drunk Rodney Orr.
I was like, oh, my God, Rodney sure is being hard on the top. What's going on? Have I missed something? And then, is Cowboy a fan of Alabama or not? I can't tell.
It's a great question. Pat claims he is, but
he is? Pat sure gave him a lot of time.
Yeah.
But it just drives me crazy that somebody would take on a first-year head coach, rake them over the coals, know that you can't – what do you want to do, sit everybody on the bench or kick everybody off the team. I mean, I think Kalen DeBoer did an outstanding job of managing his roster, not just, punishing his roster.
Well,
I mean,
your reaction to Cowboys' call is a lot more civil than the text we're getting on the text line. I can promise you that.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure. But I literally thought, I was like, Rodney's been drinking. Somebody needs to handle it.
Pat he's got a long history with Cowboy, apparently. They go way back.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with his frustrations over some things like Malachi Moore and stuff. I mean, at the time, I felt that way, but now that Malachi's gone and what a contributor he was to the team, I don't care if he got punished or not. I felt as frustrated as he did, and then some. So, you can't discipline people that you need on your team. He's holding a team together. It's much more than coaching and waving and smiling. He's trying to hurdle the guys together, and he did a great job. And now we're going to see what happens in year 2.
No doubt. Jason, we agree. Thank you for the call.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it very much. 1-800-239-WJOX, the courtesy GMC text line, 205-834-9450. So moments ago, I told you that the West Virginia-Alabama series has officially been canceled. That was supposed to take place in 2026 and 2027. Well, it didn't take long, Landrum. Alabama has already added an opponent on the 2026 schedule. It is from the American Conference.
Well, I can go ahead and tell you it's not UAB. Let me take a guess. From the American. South Florida?
No.
We're doing that again? Let's go Tulane.
No.
How about Memphis?
No.
Oh, East Carolina.
Bingo.
Fun.
So long, Mountaineers. Hello, Pirates. As East Carolina will be coming to Tuscaloosa, Alabama in 2026. What is going on?
I have no idea. Conrad's walking in, so they're doing the Florida State chant.
You got half the people doing the Florida State chant.
Benefit.
The other half was going, wow.
A lot of text rolling in reaction to Cowboys' call, who claims that he's an Alabama fan. This one reads, can we at least play the Blanken season before we start firing DeBoer? Crimson Cowboy is a miserable idiot. Pat ought to be charged with criminal mischief the way he invites the stupidity of people like Cowboy into all of our lives. Well, this one reads, boy, sure am glad I missed that Cowboy call. Collins from Pell City says every player Cowboy complained about was recruited by Saban. Josh reminds us that Clint Trickett was the West Virginia quarterback back in that 2014 game, and he threw for 365 yards, and Kevin White caught 143 yards worth of passes.
It's a name from the past, Clint Trickett.
Man, Cowboys taking a beating.
I'm just reading them. Crimson Cowboy could sit on a popsicle and tell you what it tastes like. Danny from Coleman. Thank you.
So what did I miss from Cowboy while I was navigating the fine construction here in the Homewood area? So who all was he complaining about?
That's my
with
tax
Alabama?
dollars at work, Conrad.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
We are just always striving for perfection. We know we'll never get there, but we're striving.
I like
for
the new route through the Walgreens parking lot that is being recommended.
You like that?
To the the people on the road as of right now. But yeah, so I missed. So he was complaining about. I know he's not a big DeBoer fan, but
just everything.
Just everything. Okay.
Yep. Not gonna be good.
Okay.
Not gonna be good.
He was upset that apparently he believes that Julian's saying that DeBoer did not even have a conversation with Julian saying to keep him at Alabama, and I told him that was not the case, that Julian Sayans' parents were none too happy after Nick Saban was in their den taking pictures.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they decided that he was leaving.
Well, Julian
retiring.
Sain was in Tuscaloosa for about 30 seconds, so
Yeah. No loyalty there.
he was not there for a long time.
Okay, when we come back on three-man front, a lot of people have been anticipating they're about to get in an RV and they're about to drive to Tallahassee, Florida very, very soon. FSU Dave, he is going to be on the microphone, and him and Conrad are going to have a nice little conversation about Alabama and Florida State. That's next. It is 12:46. Welcome back in. This is three-man front. Alabama, Florida State. They will do battle there at Doak Campbell Stadium. Refurbished, 68,000 is the new capacity. New turf has been laid. The tide will be rolling in. Joining us here on set here at Soho Taco, our good friend FSU Dave. Dave, good to see you.
Good to see you guys as well.
When does the RV pull out with you and Conrad, Damian, and Don Don?
We're still talking about that, trying to decide do we want to leave early Saturday morning or go Friday afternoon.
Now, what is the drive time from Birmingham to Tallahassee?
Well, it's 4.5 hours in a car.
But in an RV, you're probably
5.
Okay.
I would guess.
What do you go through Dothan?
Yeah.
That's the best way to go?
And then cut over.
All right. So you heard Ira Chappelle earlier basically say that a lot of FSU fans are talking about this Alabama game, and they just want to see them play a 4-quarter game.
Yeah, and I'm somewhat in that vein as well. In other words, I believe that if we cover and look like a real team again and hopefully keep it a game until the fourth quarter, then that's a hell of an improvement from last year. Because that team last year quit on him. There's no other way to put it.
Right.
So I'm excited about a lot of the changes. Obviously, he had to make a lot of those changes. Or if his buyout had been less, he wouldn't be there. But, he had just won 19 games in a row and a couple ACC titles in a row. But 2 new coordinators, each of whom brought 2 assistants with them. And so that gives you a lot of continuity. Tony White, our new defensive coordinator, like I said, brought 2 people, a safeties coach and a D-line coach. And the last 4 years, he's had Nebraska and Syracuse top 20 defenses. And there's no way we don't have more talent than Syracuse. I mean, it's just, I wouldn't believe it. So I'm excited about that, but nobody knows how we're going to play. Like Ira alluded to, the mistake that Norvell made last year was when we got the 5 Alabama transfers, for instance.
Right.
We were all excited because they were saving recruits. They're going to be 4 and 5 stars. But they hadn't done anything at Alabama. Whereas before, with Verse and Fisk the year before, who were first and second round picks and first and second in Defensive Rookie of the Year, they had proven it, albeit sometimes at smaller schools. So this time, we're going to have 10 new starters on offense, and an 11th one is Richie Leonard, who played at Florida, transferred to us, and got hurt after 5 games. But everybody else has basically accomplished things at the major college level. Our left tackle was played for Vanderbilt, but he was the offensive lineman of the week when Vanderbilt beat Alabama last year. So big-time performance, big-time game. Our right tackle came in from Ole Miss, second-team All-SEC. Squirrel White, you guys talked about, came in obviously from Tennessee, did an awful lot. Our other main wide receiver, Deuce Robinson, came in from Southern Cal where he was productive. He will be our number 1 receiver. Now, his dad, you probably remember, Pat, Dominic Robinson.
Yeah.
He actually played both ways for us, and he played baseball before playing in the NFL. And interestingly, he runs a scouting service out in Arizona. And he also, trains. But he came out when Castellanos was coming down, and he flew his son out for the official visit. And then he did an all-22 on our site, and he's over the moon thinking what Castellanos can do.
Okay. All right, so let's, Conrad, you have been very confident for a very long time that this is going to be an Alabama blowout. You have already predicted a 21-point win, if I'm not mistaken.
38-17.
Didn't you say that, Landrum? 38-17? Wasn't that?
Yeah, that's right.
That is my prediction.
A 3-touchdown victory. Why do you feel so confident?
I mean, I think there's a lot of reasons. I think a lot of the things that Dave just laid out, right? You have more talent, I think, this year. I think you had a lot of talent last year, right? It just didn't come together. And I think that's the trick with the transfer portal, right, is it's great that you have a lot of guys coming in that have experience and accomplish things at other programs, but how do you get all those guys to gel together on a field? And I think you could say, similarly for Alabama, right, you do have some new faces and new people in prominent roles, and it's all kind of a question mark, right, even for Alabama going into this game. But I think, Landrum brought up a great point about the Wisconsin game from last year earlier is the talent that Alabama has should be enough to get you through and across the finish line in this game. And I don't mean that in any ways as disrespectful towards Florida State. It's just I think Alabama has a lot more talent on their roster. I think going into year 2 with Kalen DeBoer, you have a lot of these guys that have a chip on their shoulder from last year. But I do think it's also fair to say Alabama, even under Nick Saban the last couple years, hasn't really played a great game on the road in quite some time. And so I think that's where some concern comes in and confidence if you're a Florida State fan. But do I think Castellanos is better than Uiagalelei last year? Yeah, I think I could have possibly been better than Uiagalelei at times, or Dave could have been. I just don't know how big that gap has shrunk from where Florida State was last year. I think they're going to be better, but I still think y'all are probably a 7 or 8 win team this year. You're not the team that went undefeated 2 years ago.
So what is your confidence level in regards to the success you will have against this Alabama team on Saturday? Like, what are the intangibles that you believe that will keep Florida State in it?
Okay, I think our defense has been much improved with Tony White. He's demanding a lot more of them. We're switching from a 3 to a 3-3-5, which is very different, gives a lot of different looks that people often have trouble with. He called out the team about 2 weeks ago for lack of intensity, some of the players, and the next day one guy was gone. But as far as the quarterback goes, Conrad, Florida State has 4 games right now that we are going to be the underdog in. Alabama, Miami at home, Clemson, and Florida on the road. Rank those 4 quarterbacks for us in order.
Okay, so you said Alabama, Miami, Clemson, and who else?
University of Florida.
Okay, I would go Klubnik, Lagway,
Beck is Miami.
Beck, and then Ty Simpson, yeah.
So obviously even you have the least amount of faith.
Well,
because I haven't seen him play yet.
But to be fair, Ty Simpson has the experience. It doesn't compare.
No, I understand that.
Okay.
But you said last week, Landrum, I believe it was, that Castellanos fits Malzahn's system to a T more than anybody.
Absolutely he does.
And we know Malzahn's going to be able to run the ball. We know Malzahn always gives Alabama trouble. So I see us moving the ball a lot. I really do.
I think y'all will score first. I said that earlier in the week. I'm not going to be surprised if it's 7-0 Florida State early in that game.
Can Florida State scratch points? My question is, how are they going to stop Alabama?
Well,
because what I heard from Ira, his biggest concern is the defensive line.
And I agree completely, because Alabama, even with the one guy out with the concussion, has one of the top 5, even with this guy out, offensive lines in the country.
Right.
So if they get rolling downhill, that is going to be a big issue for us. Can our linebackers fill the gaps, and what happens?
All right, very quickly, play it out for us. Give us a final score.
I'll give you a final score, and then I've got a question for you, Pat.
Okay.
Okay, the final score will be Alabama 34, Florida State 25. We cover. Conrad owes me a drink.
Okay.
And I have quite a few other drinks coming to me.
There you go.
All right, Pat, so my question for you is, I know that you're not an AP voter, but I know you vote for the Heisman, you vote for the Lou Groza, and also for...
Let me correct you. Unfortunately, I do not vote for the Heisman, but those others that you started saying, I am. Go ahead.
And I know you take it very, very seriously.
I do.
Okay, so, poof, I have just made you an AP voter.
Okay.
The unexpected happens on Saturday.
Okay.
Which I'm not predicting by any means at all.
Right.
How do you vote Sunday morning with those 2 teams?
Alabama is currently, 7 in the AP? Is that right?
7 or 8.
7 or 8.
And we're 38.
I would definitely put Florida State maybe at 25.
Okay, and where for Alabama?
And I would drop Alabama probably just in front of them.
But shouldn't head-to-head mean something when you've played no other games?
Yes.
And you cannot say that somebody played weekly against a BCS team. Head-to-head has to matter.
On a neutral field, I agree with that. I don't when you're playing on the road at an opposition's stadium.
But the poll each week is supposed to be how things are now, not how you think they're going to be.
I understand that. But if you were playing on a neutral side, it'd be completely different.
Oh, not arguing that. But I don't see how you could actually put Alabama ahead of Florida State when they lost to them.
Because if they played again the next week in Tuscaloosa, Alabama would be favored to beat Florida State.
And then we'd be back to where it was. It is 1 o'clock. Welcome back in. It's three-man front. A lot of stuff happening today. First and foremost, if you're a YouTube subscriber, you're holding your breath because you might not be able to see the Auburn game coming up on Friday night or the Ohio State-Texas game on Saturday because Google, owners of YouTube, and Fox Television, they are in impasse right now. So they have given Wednesday as the line of demarcation. So we'll see what happens in regards to the negotiation. Also, there's an engagement announcement that we'll talk to Dimitri Ravanos about in just a couple moments. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce have officially decided that they will exchange nuptials. So congratulations to those two. Alabama cancels next year's 2-year series with West Virginia. I would anticipate that the folks in Stillwater, Oklahoma are probably holding their breath because Alabama will soon cancel that series, which is supposed to take place, I believe, in 28-29.
I think they're going to keep the Ohio State one.
I think that one is going to, at least for now, continue on the books.
I hope they keep that.
Because that is truly what is best for all of college football.
Absolutely.
That's what you need to do. So that's the situation there. Meanwhile,
that's a win for America because one of those teams is going to get beat.
That's a great point, Landry.
That's true. Also this morning, Auburn's On3 site, they were saying that Eric Singleton Jr., the wide receiver for Auburn, during the brief practice window this morning, that he is definitely not 100%. Remember, Hugh Freeze mentioned on Monday that he was close, but they were going to have to see how the week played out. So he was in a yellow jersey. He was running around. His left knee was wrapped, but he was favoring it at times, according to Auburn's On3 site. So we'll see if he'll be good to go on Friday night. That is one area that Auburn, whether it's Cam Coleman, Horatio Fields, Malcolm Simmons, Bryce Kane,
Sam Turner.
I mean, the list goes on and on.
Thompson.
It's a very deep wide receiver room. So if he cannot go and hold him out for, obviously, SEC play in a couple of weeks, I think that would be fine. Joining us now on the Higginbotham Hotline, Dimitri Ravanos joins us. Dimitri, I hope you're doing well on this Tuesday.
I'm doing good. I'm a little taken aback by the canceling of the West Virginia series. Not because I was waiting with bated breath for it, but boy, this kind of feels like a pretty sure sign. And if you're right, Pat, and Oklahoma State is next, I would assume that Arizona and Boston College are both going to be on the chopping block. Doesn't this feel like sort of a sign that we are headed towards a day of stratification, not necessarily conferences? Like, doesn't it feel like the biggest of the big are going to go together? And if you can't pull your weight, you're on your own.
It does, Dimitri, but as an Alabama grad, besides the Ohio's, did any of those series really fire you up, the ones that you just mentioned?
I mean, okay, Conrad, I hear you, but if I may also pull my as an Alabama grad card, back in the days when our primary non-conference opponent was a Conference USA Houston, it did. I mean, it was just nice to see Big 12 and ACC and Big 10 teams on the schedule.
Well, this is Landrum who asked you the question.
Thank you, Dimitri. I appreciate you thinking I
me
sound
as
like
Conrad. You're now dead to me.
Oh, wow.
I'm not going to lie. My first thought was, how did Conrad gain the status to ask the first question? My bad. My bad.
You know that wouldn't be me, Dimitri. Come on.
You know the pecking order on this show, Dimitri.
Good.
What are you talking about? All right, so let's talk about Lee Corso. And if anyone was able to read your article from Barrett Media, I mean, this is going to be an emotional weekend as Lee Corso says goodbye on air, and we got a little taste of it last weekend with some videos that ESPN shared.
Yeah, and Reese Davis's video, I thought, was the kind of thing that people in our business need to hear. I mean, Reese said that the thing that he learned from Lee when he took over for Chris Fowler as the anchor of College Game Day was that Lee Corso's mantra is, and this is like a verbatim quote, it's entertainment, sweetheart. Football is just our vehicle. And I think it is really interesting, not just what has become of Game Day, but Fox's answer. I almost wonder if that has gone out the window. Like, Corso was so all about putting on an entertaining product and that the viewers and the audience came first. And I wonder the future of these shows in the hands of people like Pat McAfee and Dave Portnoy, who I have nothing against personally, but their style very much is about furthering their brand. I wonder if the ultimate thing we are losing about Lee Corso is not the headgear or the not so fast, my friend. It is the fact that he is a dude that 100% got what the business was.
So, Dimitri, and that's kind of what I wanted to get into with you, because I thought in your article, it's very interesting how you brought up, kind of the career arc for Lee Corso of when he needed to be the guy, he was happy to be the guy. When he needed to take a step back and let other people be the guy, he had no problem doing that as well. He was just kind of all-encompassing, and I guess you're not ever going to be able to replace that. Do you think, with Nick Saban, right? I think we all agree he did a great job last year, but it just doesn't seem like maybe he's quite as personable as Lee Corso. Do you think there's a way you could ever find another figure that the audience will relate to like Lee Corso? Is that just such a thing of the past at this point?
I think if you find it, it's got to be completely organic. You cannot force someone into that role, which is why I think the smartest thing they can do is let the headgear thing, go to the big sports media bit bin in the sky, because nobody is going to be able to do that the way that he did. I genuinely, I look at guys like Saban on ESPN and Urban Meyer on Fox and wonder if we are not sort of getting towards the day where guys like that who are so serious about this sport wonder if there is a place for them on pregame shows like that. Corso found the line. I mean, hell, Corso created the line for what worked in that combination of entertainment and knowledge space. I think ESPN fell ass backwards into the very best situation they could have had for that show. And I hope everybody running it now is smart enough to know you can't just create that. You've got to catch lightning in a bottle.
Dimitri, would it be fair, in all due respect, to compare maybe Lee Corso, what he meant to that show and to college football fans, a lot like the Today Show back when Willard Scott was on there?
Yeah, I think that's fair. I also think that, the show – I had this conversation with Kirk Herbstreit a few years ago, that the show that Game Day – always gets compared to in terms of pregame shows and how much they mean to the sport they cover is obviously Inside the NBA, right? And I think the key difference, and this is why I think Willard Scott is a good comparison, the key difference is you never heard Lee Corso, even as college football completely transformed, you never heard him talk about how terrible it is compared to back when he was coaching or back when he started this job. And as much as all of us in Alabama like Charles Barkley and acknowledge he's a great entertainer, I'm not sure what he does on Inside the NBA aside from complain about the modern NBA. I think Lee Corso was so valuable not just to ESPN because of his big personality, but he was valuable to the sport because he wanted it to succeed.
Dimitri, in regards to the legacy of Lee Corso, and, ESPN did just an amazing thing by when Lee Corso had the stroke and he was able to come back after rehab and come back and continue to be an integral part of that program. Do you think once he does depart the show after Saturday, do you think that vacuum will kind of fill in regards to the comedic value that you would have sometimes? Or you think this is going to be more of a kind of a stand-up program that you will not have that kind of fun and frivolity that you used to have?
I think you've already seen in the last few years with the addition of McAfee, I think the biggest change is Pat McAfee is a wrestling guy, right? He puts on a show for the people in the crowd. And personally, I think as a TV product, the show suffers, but I'm also not in McAfee's demographic. I think that the fun and frivolity is going to take on a very different form. It's going to be less dad jokey and punny and a little bit more in your face. And frankly, I don't think that the show is ever going to play to cameras again the way it was so good at doing in, the early 2000s, the early days of the show being on the road every week.
Dimitri, I'm curious from your perspective. All right, let's say you're put in charge of one of these morning shows, whether it's, big noon kickoff, college game day, etc., the Barstool thing they're doing, what would you like to see? What is your vision for this style moving forward? Because it seems, I know you said you don't have a personal problem with the McAfees and Portnoys and people like that of the world, but moving forward in this world without Lee Corso, what would you like these morning college football programs to look like? How would you want them to be run and operated?
Well, first of all, as somebody who lives in the Eastern time zone, I don't need 3 hours of pregame shows. Start at 9, cut it off at 11, and give me an ACC or an East Coast Big Ten or SEC kickoff at 11 a.m. Eastern time, 10 a.m. Central. That is the number one change I would make. The number two change I would make is pick a course. Like, I think that Pat McAfee is very good at what he does. I think Nick Saban is very good at what he does, but they don't work great together underneath the same umbrella. And I don't mean that the two guys don't get along. I mean they're doing two completely different shows. So pick a lane, I think, is the ultimate thing I would do. And if I'm running the Fox program, I mean, for God's sake, get somebody with a little bit of personality that is not constantly reminding you how good they were. Like, I think the Fox show is just awful.
So Fox should have more drunk undergrads attempting to kick field goals in their pregame show. Is that what you're telling us?
I mean, I think that, listen, with the graduation of Shadur and Travis Hunter, we'll see how often they are in Colorado going forward, but you can only break out sparkly cowboy hats so often. And before people start to realize that's kind of all your show can do.
Great stuff. Dimitri, always appreciate your time. Did you enjoy the game in Dublin over the weekend? Did you enjoy that?
I did. I enjoyed that it came down to late heroics. I enjoyed that we had a fight in the streets of Dublin afterwards. Just all around. I really hope that the SEC takes a game internationally at some point. I think it is good for college football to spread the sport around. And obviously, you don't want to go every year, but every 3 to 4 years you put an SEC team, whether it's in Dublin or I think, isn't Michigan playing in Germany? Like, that makes a lot of sense because of the American military presence. But the SEC should do it, should lean all the way in.
The college football bubble bath that you bring us each and every week, can you tease what is going to be featured? Does it have to do with a pop singer and an NFL star, something else? Where are you going?
Do you know I found out literally right before y'all called, and Molly was in absolute hysterics over all of this, and I haven't even had time to process this yet.
I still haven't processed it.
We will give you all the time you need to process it.
Listen, this does, I think, ruin what would have been the ultimate Super Bowl moment. Now, because of what I used to do in my past life, I have contacts that have told me that, yes, the NFL very much would like to have Taylor Swift do the halftime show this year, and they are like Taylor or bust, right, for the Super Bowl halftime show. And my immediate thought was, oh, my God, is America ready for Taylor doing the halftime show? The Chiefs get back to the game, and they've broken up. But obviously that's not going to happen.
Good stuff. Dimitri, always fun talking. We will talk to you after Labor Day. We appreciate it very much. Have a great afternoon.
Thanks, Dimitri.
All right, sounds good, guys. Take care.
He joined us on the Higginbotham Hotline. You deserve solutions that are built for you. Higginbotham is your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services.
Some news coming across the wire. We'll get to it. A lot of your text weighing in as well as we are live from Social Taco. Still a really good crowd here in the Terrace. Make time, if you can, to join us before we go off the air at 2 o'clock. But the half-off happy hour is still available to you 3 to 6, Monday through Friday here at Social Taco in the Square in Homewood. Three-man front continues here on Jox.
It is 1:18. Welcome back. We're live at Soho Taco. Conrad, Landrum, myself, Molly, high atop Red Mountain. A lot of news and information today. Been a very, very busy news day here on the old program. Appreciate you tuning in and joining us here at Soho Taco.
Well, as we know, the Alabama heat and humidity can be brutal, but don't let it affect your home and family. Keep them comfortable with an affordable Train cooling system. They've been recognized as America's most trusted brand for 11 consecutive years, and they're the official cooling partner here at Jox. So go and find a comfort specialist near you at train.com.
So we were talking about a little bit earlier about Alabama canceling their series with West Virginia. So they've got Florida State this year and Wisconsin. With the SEC moving to 9 conference games next year, they've cleaned the decks because Florida State is on the books for next year to come to Tuscaloosa. That's in 2026. In 2027, now that you've canceled the West Virginia series, you've got at Ohio State. And then I mentioned 28 and 29, you're supposed to play at Oklahoma State in 28 and then in 29 in Tuscaloosa. I firmly expect that series to be canceled, and they will keep the other game that they've got scheduled, which is at South Bend against Notre Dame in 2029. Now in 2030, the 2 marquee non-conference games that they have on the books is Georgia Tech and Notre Dame comes to Tuscaloosa. Brent Key, sorry, but that's going to go away.
I would think that every series they have planned outside of Ohio State and Notre Dame is at risk of being canceled.
And that includes Boston College, Arizona, Minnesota, and Virginia Tech. Those are games that were all on the books until 2035. So anticipate the cleaning of the decks. I agree with Conrad. I think Ohio State, that's not going away.
Nope.
Neither is Notre Dame.
Nope.
But the likes of Georgia Tech, Boston College, Arizona, Minnesota, and Virginia Tech, completely different animal.
Well, if we're going to take this season, for instance, I would much rather see Alabama face Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss again than I would Alabama take on
Boston College?
Yeah, Boston College and Bill O'Brien. That'd be a fun storyline for about 1 minute of that game. Brent Pry there at Virginia Tech. Any of those schools, none of those are going to get people fired up
No,
for
they're
a
not.
specific matchup. So, me, for one, I'm glad we're not going to get those games.
And maybe they get replaced with, other matchups.
Well,
I guess that's possible.
And
as well.
Alabama, by canceling West Virginia, they've added East Carolina for a one-off game.
And not bad.
No.
I said that this might hurt some of those schools like East Carolina with the adding of the SEC schedule and some of these non-cons, but maybe teams like maybe Alabama looks at it a different way, and other programs do. We're going to drop these, but we're not going to drop down and pick up another FCS. Let's go to the American. Let's go to the Sun Belt. Let's try to schedule one of those games.
Yeah, and I wonder if, financially, right, we want those games to stick around for the FCS, but I wonder if, in the future, do you have a format of you play one Power 4 opponent, one Group of 6 opponent, and one FCS opponent. Those are your 3 additional games, so you kind of get to spread out the love, where, like you're saying, the East Carolinas, the UABs of the world don't get forgotten about in some of these matchups because they want to play in those games too, right? They want the publicity. They want everything that comes with that. So just an idea for future scheduling.
Minnesota fans probably bummed about it. Arizona fans probably bummed about it.
Yeah.
But
Alabama fans, no, not so much.
Yeah, I mean, because you think about those schools that's being canceled, that is like a big feather in the cap to their season ticket package for the next year.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's like, hey, we've got Alabama coming, to Morgantown, or we've got Alabama coming to Chestnut Hill. I mean, that's pretty wild, to be able to have that.
Yep.
The other big story that we've kind of been talking about has been the situation developing with YouTube TV. It has confirmed that it is in active negotiations with Fox TV for a new contract. If companies can't reach an agreement by Wednesday, Friday night's Auburn-Baylor game and Saturday's Texas-Ohio State matchup may be unavailable on YouTube TV. If no agreement is reached long-term, then Landrum and Molly will get a check for $10. Or actually,
Nice.
it'll be a credit that you can use at your...
I'll take the credit.
You could use that on 1 month of, what is the YouTube no ads? There you go.
I've got the backup plan ready to go.
Okay.
Where I can still watch it at my house, but I will take the $10 credit. But I hope I don't have to go with the backup plan.
He's really excited to host you and Molly. So I don't want to get our favorite streamers' hopes up if
Who's hosting them?
Lupe.
Our Lupe.
Oh, Lupe.
Our guy.
That's right.
Yeah.
From
and
Guatemala.
he was just very excited that he was going to have visitors from the South again, and I just
now this is
feel like he's going to be let down.
I mean, people have asked me about this, and this is not. I mean, I know that we do a lot of shenanigans on this show, but this is a real deal. Conrad and I, a couple years ago, because we're direct TV subscribers, we were shut out, and the NFL season had begun.
Yep.
And we could not get ESPN programming. So we went on Twitch, which is a platform that a lot of gamers use to stream their...
Yeah, you might have seen Janai Broom on there last year playing Fortnite.
Yeah, he played Twitch almost every night.
Yeah.
And it did not affect his play.
No.
So we found a Guatemalan kid who was on Twitch, and he was the second screen. Like, he would have his little pop-up in the corner of the screen, and you would have the actual ESPN broadcast, and Lupe was sitting there talking about what he was seeing.
Yep. No, it was actually I know it sounds on people, oh, y'all are making this up. No, it was very real, and it was awesome because in that moment, that was the only way that we had access to that game. And so I just, for Landrum and Molly and whoever else out there are ways that you can still
There's
watch
still
the
a back
game.
door.
There is absolutely still a back door, and you might have to do a little searching for it, but you'll find it.
Yeah.
And we are very thankful for the people that provide those services in times of need.
Well,
such as this, perhaps.
And Landrum and countless others, they have indoor HD antennas, so they can still get local television. So you will be able to get the Fox affiliate in Birmingham or wherever market you're listening, whether it's Huntsville or Montgomery, Mobile. If you got an indoor antenna, you'll be able to pick up your local Fox station and you'll be able to watch the game.
Speaking of backdoors, did you see the big announcement?
That was good. That was good.
Jackson Arnold's teaming up with Dude Wipes.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, that's big. That's really big.
I like, so with the, what'd you say the draw was? It is the Save the Toilet Paper for Rolling Tumors
Toilet
Corner.
paper belongs in the trees.
So use the Dude
not
Wipes
on
your behind.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like good strategy. They said Colorado's got Depends. We got to go to Auburn right now. We got to get in front of these college football
Any
fans.
man in here, including at this table, they say, hey, we got an endorsement deal and you're going to get free product as a part of that, we would all take it.
Absolutely.
Dude Wipes are great.
Yeah.
We don't get paid to say that. They are great.
But if you're interested in a possible sponsorship opportunity on the show, we would always welcome that as well.
That would actually be very fitting for my feet. Do they make feet wipes particularly?
No, they're Dude Wipes, dude.
Yeah, you can use it on any part of your dude.
Yeah.
So you just, keep going down as you're cleaning it off?
What is wrong with you? Huh? I mean, I know what's wrong with you, but I had to ask that for our new listeners.
That's right.
What is wrong with you, Conrad?
A lot of things. A lot of things. No, that is a very clever sponsorship there from Dude Wipes. So very cool.
Thinking
outside the box. Got to keep your quarterback clean all season long.
That's right. Keep his jersey clean and keep his
backside
clean.
Yeah, and his feet if you're Conrad.
Yeah.
I was about to say, you could do some really funny things with, maybe have a Damari Alston commercial where he's like, yeah, when I'm back there, man, it looks clean every Saturday.
I was throwing quarterback jargon there, but I don't need to do it.
No, what he needs to do is was the partnership announced with his center?
Oh, that'd be perfect. That's even better.
About?
Even better. Yep.
Should have been with his center and Jackson Arnold.
Every quarterback loves a clean pocket.
Well, when you put your hands down there, you need to make sure everything's good to go.
That's right.
How many times do you think we see him under center?
Probably none.
Zero?
Probably none.
Well, certainly not if it's ever 4th and 1 or 3rd and 1, because teams hate doing that nowadays.
If you're on the goal line,
you never see it. They hate it.
Please.
We have to get 1 yard.
College football coaches everywhere.
Let's make it 6 yards. That's
practice
way
that. So
tush push.
Moronic.
We will continue. We are live at Social Taco. I'd love to hear from you. 1-800-239-WJLX, the courtesy GMC text line 205-834-9450.
1:30, three-man front live from Social Taco here in Homewood. Landrum, Conrad, Male. Still a very festive crowd. Is FSU Dave? Is he gone? No, he's still
right
here. Yeah,
he is here. He's
After
soaking it all in.
You two had your discussion. Damien has showed up wearing his UAB gear. Is that his non-Power 4 school that he's adopted this year in addition to Ole Miss? He's
yeah,
going
it's definitely
UAB.
not Ole Miss colors.
Oh, that's good. That's a good-looking UAB tee.
Oh, it is UAB, isn't it? Yeah.
SocialTaco.bar for more information. Check out the great menu and the wonderful time that we're having. You probably hear it through your speakers, but the time that you can have with your friends and come in and enjoy, whether it's brunch, whether it's lunch, whether it's dinner, a private event. They have that available as well. But Social Taco, it's such a fun time, especially during football season.
It's
year-round, it's
fantastic.
great,
Yeah.
but football season, you get people coming in, they're wearing all their gear, they're talking smack. We had two brothers, family divided, family of six, or six brothers. Three brothers went to Alabama, three brothers went to LSU. And you had one of the LSU brothers, one of the Alabama brothers coming in today. It was their first time. They had heard about it. They listened to the show. I just brought it all.
So Avery Johnson's family would be right at home here at a Social Taco.
Avery Johnson's family would be perfect for the Dr. Phil show.
And they could order chicken feathers, and maybe that would bring them together, because if nothing else will bring you together, it should be the chicken feathers.
That's right. Prize Picks brings everyone together. It's the best place to win cash while watching sports. You can join millions of users and sign up today. Prize Picks is really simple to play. You just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. If you get your picks right, you could cash in, win up to 2,000 times your money. Yesterday, on the more or less, Spencer Strider went less than 6 strikeouts. We were good there.
Mm-hmm.
Went more on the hits, runs batted in, 1.5 for Ronald Acuna. He was hitless. He didn't score a run. He didn't draw a walk. He didn't knock anybody in. So we lost on that one. You got to get 2 or more right. Tonight, I'm going to put the pressure on you. We're going with your Yankees, taking on the Washington Nationals.
See, the problem is you didn't go with Schlittler last night as he was on the bump, our new favorite Yankee.
I should have gone with Cam Schlittler.
That's right.
Giancarlo Stanton. Hits, runs batted in, 1.5. All of those combined. Any combination of those. We just got to get more than 1.5.
He's flying under the radar a little bit because the Yankees haven't been great. He might be the hottest hitter in baseball right now. He has been on an absolute tear, so I'm going more for Giancarlo. He has saved our season.
All right, we're going more there. And how about Austin Wells? 0.5. Hits, runs batted in.
I'm going to go less for him. He's had a couple good days, so he's hitting 200 on the season. He's overdue for a stinker, so I'll go less.
So more on Giancarlo Stanton, less on him.
Yep.
If we hit on those 2-player projections, we're a winner. This is what you do. You download the Prize Picks app today. Use code WJOX. Get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code WJOX. Get the $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game.
Well, we have so many great games coming up this weekend. Obviously, we spent a lot of time on Auburn and Baylor on Friday, and, of course, Alabama FSU on Saturday. But all 16 teams from the Southeastern Conference, Landrum, going to be in play. And it's going to start off on Thursday, actually, as you're going to have Missouri taking on Central Arkansas there. Of course, as we mentioned, you've got on Friday Auburn versus Baylor. So I think for the Missouri game, we all agree Central Arkansas probably not going to be a big test for them, but will be interesting because we know they're going to play 2 quarterbacks in that game, Landrum, with Bo Pribula and then Sam Horn as well. So interesting to see maybe how that competition settles itself there for Drinkwitz. But we have some of the bigger games in the SEC. Of course, at 11 a.m., Texas and Ohio State. What are your expectations for the Longhorns going into this game? Is it win or bust, or are you just looking to see, okay, Arch Manning looks comfortable, maybe Texas falls to Ohio State, but the pieces are there for a great season from the Longhorns?
I think this is going to tell us a little bit more about Texas and how their season goes than maybe it will Ohio State.
Okay.
And maybe that's an indictment on the Big Ten this season, but I look at Texas's schedule still with a Georgia game. You got A&M. I can see this Texas team losing. I told you guys this months ago. I could see them losing 3 regular season games. And what if? What if Arch Manning is not what And not fair to him, but that Manning name carries to it, and the expectation of finally it's Arch's time. He's going to dominate college football. What if he's not that guy?
What if he's just good? What if he's Quinn Ewers, maybe a little bit less than Quinn Ewers? Like that. Where again, I thought Quinn Ewers was a solid college quarterback, but there's obviously a ceiling of what Texas could do with him while he was there.
Do we believe that? Do you believe that Arch Manning can be better than Garrett Nussmeier has been at LSU?
He can be.
Do you consider Garrett Nussmeier one of the top 4 quarterbacks in the conference?
Yeah, I would take Garrett Nussmeier
Okay.
for Arch Manning, no question, right now.
But Garrett Nussmeier wasn't perfect.
No, a lot of turnovers, a lot of interceptions.
LSU didn't make a college football playoff under
No.
Garrett Nussmeier.
Good point.
So what I'm saying is, do they have enough of the other pieces around Arch Manning, which they've recruited very, very well? But is that enough if Arch Manning is having one of those off days?
Well, that's my thing with Texas is I think you could make an argument that on paper they might have the best defense in the country right now.
Maybe.
And I think that should be the Texas calling card this year. Right now, if Arch Manning is everything, like what did we talk about yesterday, 3,500 passing yards, 700 rushing yards, 50 touchdowns, Heisman finalists, all this great stuff, then yeah, Texas is probably going to be fine, at least one of the final 4 teams of the season you would expect there. But again,
who
it's
needs
just,
to be
it's
better
hard
in your
to say
opinion?
that.
Ty Simpson or Arch Manning?
Who needs to be better? Arch Manning.
No.
But I also, and I will say this, right? We don't know. We're not nearly as in touch with what's going on at Texas as we are with Alabama. But from the people I've talked to in Tuscaloosa, not saying that you want the backup in over Ty Simpson, but I think a lot of confidence has grown in Austin Mack this offseason to where if something did happen to Ty Simpson, I don't think you would see a huge fall off from the Alabama offense.
All of that being said, what I just said about Texas, I got a sneaky suspicion they win that game in Columbus.
It will be – see, it's hard for me right now. Just because it's in Columbus, it gives me that lean towards Ohio State. But I think if you have questions about Arch Manning, you probably have even more questions about Julian Saint because we've actually never seen him really on a playing field. But you do have arguably the 2 best players in the country in Jeremiah Smith and Caleb Downs if you're Ohio State, and that kind of helps you out. So maybe Ohio State, some better individual talent, but I do think the best group on that field on Saturday will probably be the Texas defense.
Then again, last time I saw a team from the SEC that wears white and orange as their colors got dominated on that, December night?
Yeah. That is that's a good point. So that's certainly going to be an interesting game there. Of course, Texas-Ohio State, 11 a.m. on Fox there on Saturday. This is a game, Landrum, I think is flying under the radar because it's at the same time as Texas-Ohio State. So you're going to have your multi-screen setups ready to go for all you listeners out there. But that's Syracuse and Tennessee. And I understand now, Tennessee's lost a lot of the luster, I think, with Nico, and maybe not even people expecting him to be great, but you felt like the potential was there, right, where if he took that next step, wow, look out at what Tennessee could possibly be. But now with Joey Aguilar there, still a top 25 team, should have a good defense, should have a good running game. But I'll be honest, I think Syracuse, I'm not saying I'm going to pick them to win this football game, but I think Syracuse might be a little trickier than some people are giving credit for. Fran Brown's turned that into a really nice program.
This has a potential to be, and I see Tennessee as an 8-4 team right now.
Yep.
But this has the potential to be, oh my gosh, it's alarming. Tennessee might be in real trouble this year if they struggle in this game.
If you lose this game, I think the fan base is not going to be doing very well.
With a loss, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm saying a 4-quarter, you got to dig deep in the last 5 minutes to get a win.
You win on a touchdown on the last drive kind of thing, yeah.
So that will – I think that will at least be a good litmus test week 1 of a little bit of what we're going to get from Tennessee this season.
Yeah, no, I think it's a game they should win, but if they don't win it, then or like you said, maybe it's a game you have to squeak out there in the final minutes of the fourth quarter. Maybe it starts to shift some of the perception of what Tennessee can be this year. Also at 11 a.m. on Saturday, you've got Mississippi State and Southern Miss, a bit of an in-state battle there as Jeff Lebby tries to improve on last year's rough season. Pat will be a big fan of this one. 11:45, Toledo in Kentucky, as the Rockets will travel to Lexington. And Zach Calzada, I know we joke about it a lot.
All 220 of him.
Are you intrigued at all to see what this Kentucky offense looks like, or do you just not have any faith or hope that they could be better than what we've got in the last couple of years?
I have less intrigue about Kentucky in any facet of their team this year than any other team in the Southeastern Conference.
I would agree with that. I'm much more interested in what Mississippi State could potentially do with Jeff Lebby in year 2 than
Not that there always
what
is,
Kentucky's gonna
but
be.
there is, in my eyes, there is no sizzle around this Kentucky program right now.
I agree, there's not.
Mark Stoops, he just doesn't seem like a guy that's content, doesn't seem like a guy that is in love with where college football has gone, with his duties, the demands put on him. I'm not saying he's lazy. He just would rather coach football. I think he is totally out of love of what's going on. And you look at how that roster got rated. Well, it was Barry and Brown. What they had of that roster from a 4-8 team a year ago? No, there's no intrigue.
Well, I think their saving grace the last few years, right, is maybe not a lot of people knew who Will Levis was when he came over. But then in that second year, it was like, okay, maybe there's something there. It didn't work out great, and I'm not going to make any Will Levis jokes at Damien's expense, but you had a little bit of intrigue there. Then you bring in Devin Leary from NC State. Then you bring in Brock Vandergriff. Right? Like, you brought in guys that, college football fans were looking and go, okay, you might have something there. Ultimately, they did not. But I don't think Zach Calzada gives you any sort of that excitement or sense of optimism around what the offense could be like some of the guys in the past have done, and they all did not fare particularly well at Kentucky. You also have Marshall in Georgia. I know Mike Griffith talked about that earlier. I know we talked about Gunnar Stockton, and Mike kind of went a deep dive into that. Gunnar Stockton and Ty Simpson, where are you, I guess, and I feel like they're very similar, right?
Yeah.
I guess we've seen Gunnar Stockton play in a more meaningful situation in the playoff last year. Do you have one lean one way or the other? Who do you have higher expectations for? Do you think they have similar ceilings for their teams this year?
I think they're very similar. The compare and contrast. I know that Gunnar Stockton, if anything else, he's a tough cookie.
Yep, he'll take a hit.
He will take a hit. He's a battler. Seems like do anything to get the job done. Ty Simpson strikes me as that guy. I think that Ty Simpson, though, with the guys that he has to throw to, with what Ryan Grubb is going to do in that offense, not taking a shot at Mike Bobo, but I think it's more conducive to him putting up some wow plays as opposed to what we're going to get from Gunnar Stockton. So I give the edge to Ty Simpson there.
We also have at 3:15, you're going to have Alabama A&M and Arkansas. So Sam Pittman try to get off on a good foot here and what could be a make-or-break season for him in Fayetteville.
They'll look good. Arkansas look good.
I think they will look good as well. You have Oklahoma, very interesting team this year. They'll host Illinois State at 5 o'clock. That'll be their first game of the season. You've got Florida hosting Long Island at 6 o'clock.
If nothing else, going back to that Oklahoma game,
yeah.
John Mateer.
I want to see what he looks like.
I want to see for 4 quarters John Mateer put up a highlight reel.
And we're not going to get – once they get into SEC play, I think that's when people really start to get a picture for what he is. Because we know he's a great quarterback, but can he be great against SEC defenses?
Sure.
And we'll have to wait.
And we're not going to see him for 4 quarters against Illinois State.
No, and I think similar for Florida, right? You have DJ Lagway going against Long Island. Very excited to see what he looks like. This could be – I mean, this is essentially extended fall camp for him, right? Because he's missed out on a lot of reps. This is an opportunity to get him on the field with the guys.
First team NFL preseason schedule for him in this game.
Yeah,
maybe a quarter.
Yeah, we'll see how long he fares. But I'd be curious, right? Maybe you let him go a little bit longer just because he did miss so much time in the offseason. But
what are you going to learn against Long Island?
And you don't want to risk another injury because he seems to be injury prone, unfortunately. A couple other games that you have.
Bunch of stockbrokers.
That's right. At 6 o'clock, you're going to have the Florida game, but you're also going to have UTSA and Texas A&M in College Station. Charleston Southern and Vanderbilt there in Nashville. Of course, the big one, 6:30 in prime time. You're going to have LSU and Clemson on ABC. That's the big one. And then Georgia State, Ole Miss at 6:45. And on Sunday, the final game of the SEC Week 1 slate, South Carolina and Virginia Tech. So a little bit of a family reunion of sorts. Obviously, Frank Beamer not the head coach there anymore, but for Shane Beamer, some feelings, I'm sure, some emotions that will come out in that matchup.
LSU's going to have more of a chance with their remaining schedule to make a statement and say this is who we are if they win this game. Clemson, I feel like this can be their statement game.
Absolutely.
Where even if they were to drop another game, if they can point back to we dominated LSU for 4 quarters or we won that football game, this will be one that they certainly hang their hat on if it comes down to committee resume. But there's some people that believe – I think Clemson's going to be really, 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 really good.
I do too, and I think for a lot of –
this is a great way to prove it. Come out of the gates, come out hot, veteran quarterback, and I'm not saying name your number, but be comfortable in the closing seconds.
Remember last year and how that game looked against Georgia, right, early in the season, where people wrote off Clemson immediately of, okay, they just can't compete. They obviously came a long way in the season, but talk about the growth you could see. And I know it's not Georgia again, but if you go out and you do have a dominant win or an impressive win over LSU, I think that's going to give you a lot of confidence that, okay, Clemson's not just a team that can cruise through the ACC and make the playoff, but they will legitimately be a national title threat. And I think a lot of people's eyes at that point, if they're not already.
For sure. And that's going to be that's 2 quarterbacks that we might be talking about in the Heisman discussion when it comes to Garrett Nussmeier and Cade Klubnik.
Very much so.
Oh.
Very much so.
A lot of Tigers in that game.
2 of them.
Yep.
But Clemson's the only one that looks like it's been on meth.
Yes.
He's scary.
That Tiger looks like he has not used dude wipes.
No. He uses the paw.
That's like, what's going on? I'm feeling not so fresh back there. We continue. We're live from Soho Taco here in Homewood. We wrap it up. Put a bow on this Tuesday as we continue on Jox. Three-man front, we continue. Yeah, he's a raucous Raucous
somebody was
atmosphere.
throwing chairs for
I don't
a
know what's
second.
going on. We got Don still hobbling around. Christopher's up here hanging out. We got folks that are still arriving, and maybe it's just because it's week one of college football season.
People are getting and this is the thing, right? Is I feel like yesterday, people wake up, it's cool outside, it feels like football
There are
weather.
people drinking beers
It's
that
the
typically
beginning.
don't drink beer, Conrad.
That's what I'm saying. This is the point in the week where you start to get antsy, and you just can't wait for the games on whether it's Friday, Saturday, whenever your team plays, and it's a little chippy.
So was Antsy Day yesterday for Auburn since they play on Friday?
Ooh, maybe so. Maybe so. So today's mega antsy day because Don's, I don't know what he's doing over there.
I mean,
He
my
does.
team
I think-
plays on Thursday, and Taylor Swift got engaged today, so I'm ultra antsy.
Oh, my God.
Is this, Molly, is this top 5 best days of your entire life?
Probably, yeah.
Oh.
It's a great day.
That's great. That's wonderful.
Well,
and
it's
so is Big Whiskey's. That's a great place, isn't it, Molly?
Yeah, absolutely. And I know we were just going over all of the SEC action coming up for week 1. And the place to catch all the games is Big Whiskey's. They're going to have all the games on in the bar on all of the big screens. And they're also a great place for food of all varieties with a full menu with apps and salads, burgers and steaks. Your unique bar features cocktails, over 120 whiskeys, including whiskey on tap, and plenty of screens, like I said, that you can catch all the games all weekend long. So go check them out in the Stadium Trace Village off Highway 150 near the Hoover Met.
I was looking for a worst thing I've seen, and I'm not going to do that. There's a lot of potential stories that are out there.
Oh, yeah. Yes, there are.
I don't want to go there. We do need to go to the Jox text line because we have a lot of texts, a lot of different things to cover. 205-834-9450. We will start off with Josh asking. No, it's random, but is Petrino still at Arkansas? Yes, he is.
He is the offensive coordinator. Maybe the interim head coach. I'm getting ahead of myself.
Another one sent from someone listening on the Jox app. All my betting people, I'm taking Toledo over Kentucky.
Let's see. That is, I'm seeing Kentucky 9.5.
Is Toledo picked to win the MAC this year?
That's an interesting one.
Weren't they?
That's a good question. They were up there.
I feel like they're pretty consistently up there.
Yeah, that's
Is Candle still the coach?
That's a good question. I'm trying to see here if I can find the.
I've got so many questions that you need to know the answer to, Conrad,
Well,
when it comes to Toledo.
Pat is the MAC guy, and Pat is not here. It looks like that was from last year. Yes, Toledo is projected, at least according to ESPN, to have the best record in the MAC.
Is Jason Candle still the coach?
Yes.
All right. Conrad Van Chaos. Over, under in months. How long do they stay married?
Oh.
I'm going to
Is
give them.
forever an option?
I'll give them all. I
No,
think
it's
it'll be a
not, Molly.
while.
I'm going to give them because how long have they been dating? 2 years?
Yes, 2 years.
Okay. I'll put the over and under at 60 months, 5 years.
Let's see.
And I'm actually going to go over.
I'm going to go. I'll go 72 months. I just Googled average length of celebrity marriages, and I don't know how they figured this out, but it says 6 years.
It's actually more than I thought it would be.
I know. I thought, well, you've got, your Britney Spears and Kardashians that, get married for 3 weeks, and, that kind of brings the average down a little bit. But, yeah, I think, genuinely, I do think that, I don't know them personally, they seem like they genuinely care about each other, and I would think that they would be together for a while.
Richard, great Jox listener, texting in. You always turn up the energy and hyperbole the week of game one. It always gets everyone ready for the season. You're right. We're here for it.
I'm excited.
We're the match to your fuse.
I am less tired when I wake up in the morning. I feel just more invigorated in life. This is the best time of year.
Posey says they'll stay together until Kelce retires.
See,
then she realizes she doesn't want him around.
That's a fair point.
I liked practicing training. But how much is he really doing? Because he seems like he spends a lot of time with her.
I'll call this right now. Travis Kelce, this is his last year in the NFL. That's my prediction.
And then he becomes a stagehand for her. A backup dancer.
That's right, absolutely. And an actor.
And an actor. He's actually he was pretty good in Happy Gilmore,
He'll be in every
some
Adam
of you
Sandler movie
hated
coming
it.
out in the future.
That's going to do it for us. We appreciate all of you. All of our guests can be found there at the podcast. Thanks to Molly Robinson, Pat Smith, Don, and all of our friends here at Soho Taco. For Conrad Van Order, I'm Landon Roberts. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. God is great. Be careful.